So, as I told you guys before, I got a little time in between what I'm doing to talk to you guys about what I think is definitely going to be probably the biggest fight, and I'm talking pay-per-view fight, from 140 all the way down to flyweight or strawweight. This is probably the biggest fight in boxing. It's not really going to be it's not going to be a title fight necessarily. I mean, you can have it for Gervonta Davis's paper championship, but to be honest with you, that's irrelevant. We live in the age of social media. We live in the age of um, intangibles that are found outside of boxing. And sometimes in boxing, the biggest fights are not even for a championship belt. The biggest fights are for the hottest fighters that clash with each other. And in this case, as I was saying before, I wasn't really interested in um, who Gervonta Davis would face next. I was more interested in um, what direction Gervonta Davis is going to take his career in terms of, is he going with GTD Promotions solo and Al Heyman as his manager, or is he going to go with Mayweather Promotions in conjunction with GTD Promotions? I think his status is going to be a little bit different with Mayweather Promotions for the new contract for sure. And from there, move forward, because Mayweather Promotions has been doing a phenomenal job with Gervonta Tank Davis, making him into a star. And the pathway they've been negotiating has been to get him involved in the biggest, most lucrative fights in boxing. So how they have actually shaped him is to get him in the biggest, most lucrative fights in boxing. And not only that, but Mayweather Promotions has been increasing his star power and making him a name that casual fans and the general community of people who may tune into boxing will get to know. Not only that, but they have also made him into the cash cow of boxing for any fighter from 140 all the way down to 130 pounds. Because Tank Davis has been oscillating between 130 and 140 pounds so far in his career. So Tank Davis has been forged from almost an unknown fighter who's been known underground. And with his signing with Mayweather Promotions, Tank Davis is a global phenomenon in the sense that he's gone across to England and beat a fighter over there. He's been in the United States and beat successive fighters from different countries over there. So Tank is a worldwide name. Many people now in many cities in the United States plus in England have seen him fight. And he's been spectacular in just about every single fight he's been in. So as a result of that, Mayweather Promotions has been building Tank's brand, and it's right now it's a very big brand. Okay? And not only is Tank in demand outside of boxing now, investors and actors and people are trying to invest in the brand that Tank has, but he's also a much in demand brand inside of boxing for the boxers between 140 pounds and 130 pounds. Just about anybody who's anybody wants to face Gervonta Tank Davis once they are at 140 pounds all the way down to 130 pounds. Tank is on their mouths. Tank is on their lips. Okay? Nobody else in boxing is in demand from 140 pounds to 130 pounds than Tank Davis. Now, Tank is sort of a phenomenon, something like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez currently is the cash cow from 168 to 175. He's in demand from 168 to 175. He established himself and built himself off of Golden Boy and Mayweather Promotions as in the undercard of Floyd Mayweather. This is where his brand was built. So Tank is sort of beginning, sort of like Canelo is. And Canelo also has his own promotion company, which is Canelo Promotions. Okay? Now, Canelo cut ties with Golden Boy. And he's currently promoting himself. Okay? Now, Ryan Garcia, he's contractually signed to Golden Boy Promotions. He currently his fights are seen on the platform DAZN. The nice thing about DAZN, at least, I don't know what contract Golden Boy has with DAZN, but the nice thing about DAZN is that it is a app. It's a platform that you can, at any point in time, watch. So as a result of that, DAZN is like almost any streaming service today. It's an app, like Netflix, etc. So DAZN, you can keep DAZN on your phone. You can have DAZN wherever. Now here's the thing. Ryan Garcia, even though he's not a world champion, even though he has not faced, the best competition he has faced is Luke Campbell, is in demand in boxing. He is also a second guy that everyone wants to face. Kambosos picked Ryan Garcia. He wanted to face Ryan Garcia over Devin Haney. Okay? In fact, Kambosos was entertaining the idea of facing Ryan Garcia even before Vasily Lomachenko. And I'm going to tell you quite point blank, flatly why. Ryan Garcia, unlike Vasily Lomachenko, unlike Devin Haney, has been spectacular in almost every single fight he's been in. He has knocked out his opponent. As a result of that, Ryan Garcia is a very hot name in boxing. His stock is way up there. In addition, Ryan Garcia, like Tank Davis, on social media, has made use of social media platforms, and Ryan Davis has made use of social media, and he has a tremendous social media following. Okay, even bigger than Tank Davis. So it's not rocket science. So he has a fan following. He has built a tremendous fan following. Vasily Lomachenko doesn't have that. Devin Haney does have a fan following. Devin Haney is his own boss. Devin Haney, he's a prevalent presence on social media. But Ryan Garcia has the hair, the complexion. He has the looks. On top of that, he has spectacular knockouts, something Devin Haney doesn't have. And so Ryan Garcia is the hottest thing that's not Tank Davis from 140 to 130. Now, I can tell you as a fact, I'm not even going to play with this one. The biggest fight from 140 to 130, without a doubt, is not Tank versus Lomachenko. It's not Tank versus Devin Haney. It's not Tank versus Kambosos. The biggest fight that can be made from 140 to 130 is Tank versus Ryan Garcia. Period. Okay? That's the biggest fight that can be made. And stylistically, that matchup is quite a matchup. Okay? That's going to be a hell of a fight when it does happen, because both guys have power. Ryan is big as hell. I mean, Ryan is a tremendously big fighter. Ryan is 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. They say he has a 70-inch reach, but he's grown. And Ryan is only, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan is 22 years old or 23 years old. He's young. Okay? So Ryan Garcia is he's got everything. He's got speed, power, defense. He's long, he's rangy. Yeah, he has his chin up in the air sometimes, but usually it's behind a long range. If he's doing defense, his chin is tucked. And whereas Luke Campbell could take advantage of hitting Ryan Garcia with a left hook because he's long and rangy himself, okay, Tank would have to extend himself to get to Ryan when his chin's up in the air at least, uh, from far out there. He's really long. Okay, now, mind you, Tank has faced a very long fighter like that in Mario Barrios, right? But Mario Barrios didn't have the hand speed. He doesn't have the foot speed, and he's got decent boxing IQ, a very good jab, but he still is kind of limited in what he can do. Ryan's not that. Ryan's anything but that. Okay, so when I say that this would be an extremely intriguing fight, Ryan Garcia versus Tank, I mean that. Okay. However, I do understand that Tank has a lot of skills and he can do so many different things, and so it'll make for a very interesting fight, though. It'll make for a very intriguing fight. And once again, you're not talking about. I know that Rolando Romero, he wasn't a small, weight-wise at least, he wasn't a small lightweight. He's a big lightweight. He was much bigger than Tank in that ring. Tank's big himself. Don't get it wrong, but Rolly Romero was much bigger than Tank. But having said that, the intriguing part about this kind of fight would be the length and range, and the fact that Ryan he knows how to use his jab, he knows how to use his stick very well, and just the dominant nature that Ryan has had. The fact that Ryan has extensive amateur background, he's not Rolly Romero at all. This is not a guy trying to find himself. He already knew what he brings to the table in boxing, in the pros, and now he's just simply filling into the pro ranks and just going through the gears, establishing himself. Okay, guys like Devin Haney and Rolly and Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez to a smaller extent, and Shakur Stevenson. These guys are going through gears. Okay, they already know their confidence is built in their extensive amateur career and just showing just how much levels they are above anybody in their pro career so far. So Ryan's just going through the gears, pretty much. He's beating up guys and knocking them out because they just don't belong on his level, period. Tank belongs on his level. Ryan is not just going to go in there and starch Tank. That's not happening. So you can forget about that idea. And Tank's not just going to go in there and starch Ryan. That's not happening. All right, that's a fight that can go. It may go 11 rounds. It may go 10 rounds. It may go 12 rounds. Okay, because that's how good those two guys are. Now Tank has a lot more championship experience, and that will play a major key in a fight like that. But he's got just about every single. It could work in his advantage, but I mean, Ryan has more physical advantages than Tank does. He's going to be the bigger guy. He's going to have the longer reach. He's going to be the longer guy. He's got very good defense for a tall guy, and he knows how to use his stick. He knows how to move around the ring. He knows how to back opponents up. He knows all these little tricks and things, just like Tank does. Now, I think Tank has a little bit more special effects than Ryan does, which is what will help him to close the distance or cut certain angles or do certain things. But nonetheless, I'm just saying, both of them have power. It's not like Tank's going in there and he's the only guy with power. No. And Rolly Romero had power, but he didn't know how to use his power effectively. That's not going to be the case with Ryan. So this is actually a hell of a fight. It's not even a true championship fight. That's the elements there. That first of all, that's tantalizing. Okay? The second thing about this, which makes this just a tremendous fight whenever it happens, and I think hopefully it happens this year, is the fact that both guys are lightning fast. I mean, they're blisteringly quick. They're blisteringly sharp. They're blisteringly athletic. So that in and of itself just leads to fireworks. And then finally, the most important part of this, and this This is something that was brewing for a while, and I think may happen this year. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But they will need to be the main event for the card. But I would 100% hope that on the undercard, the co-main event will be an exhibition match between Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, the two promoters. I mean, you put that on the undercard. I don't know how the numbers crunch out, but I'm going to tell you this. First of all, people come to see Floyd Mayweather fight. And then you put an opponent who people thought, at least back in the day, that was a potential threat to Floyd Mayweather in Oscar De La Hoya. Some people believe Oscar actually beat Floyd. Oscar was supposed to get a rematch with Floyd a very long time ago. He was preparing for a rematch with him where his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., was supposed to train Oscar. There's a storyline to that. So, even though it's an exhibition fight, that's a fight I would love to see. That's a fight, that would be an exhibition fight where any fan would want to see. And then the thing about it is, everybody knows who Oscar De La Hoya is. Everybody knows who Floyd Mayweather is in boxing. Outside of boxing, the younger people may not know who Oscar is as much as they may know about who Floyd is. But it won't take much for people to know who Oscar De La Hoya is by throwing that storyline out there. So, I mean, you put that together with Tank versus Rolly and crunch those numbers and see what you get. Crunch those numbers and see what you get. Okay? I'm telling you, man, that's big pay-per-view numbers, I believe. That's big pay-per-view numbers, I believe. That's definitely somewhere between 1.0 million pay-per-view buys and 2.0 pay-per-view buys at least. 200 million. 2 million. Sorry, 2 million. 2 million pay-per-view buys. It's somewhere in between that. And let me tell you, why they need to be the undercard is because the real event everybody wanted to really see is Tank versus Ryan. But by just boosting that with the two promoters doing it, the two promoters doing the co-main event, that just totally boosts the whole fucking card to another stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, that shit gonna make a lot of money, a lot of money. That's the hottest card. That would be the hottest thing for 2022. That would be the hottest thing, in boxing, period. And so that's why I said Tank didn't. There's nothing bigger. Probably nothing bigger for the year. There will be no bigger card. And the thing about it will be, Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's going to be big. That's going to definitely be big. Terrence and Errol, they've done pay-per-view, and Errol has done exceptionally well on his pay-per-view. But you can't top a Mayweather versus De La Hoya fight. I mean, that just will overshadow everything this year. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you have the main event, which is Ryan versus Tank. That shit's going to be so when you think of the potential of what that fight could be, what that card could be, somebody's always going to go. So many things. It's just, that would be, I'm telling you, man, that would be the biggest event. And the thing about that is, that would be a big pay-per-view. That would make Tank a pay-per-view star. That would make Ryan a pay-per-view star. And we're talking astronomical pay-per-view numbers. Whoever comes out of that, the winner, probably be the new face of boxing. Just like that. Just like that. But, of course, they'll have to crunch the numbers. They'll have to figure out what ballpark figure we're talking about with a fight like that. But it has to first, obviously has to make sense. But the thing about it is, that kind of money, in an event like that, I think it gets Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya to want to make a fight like that with Mayweather Promotions. That's something where I think Oscar De La Hoya would say, you know what, let's do that. Because there's no way. Rolly Romero's on the map. He might have gotten knocked out, but Rolly Romero is now a name in boxing. You guys gonna remember that name, right? And you can't pay for that shit. You can't pay for that sort of and depending on the pay-per-view that happens for this fight, Tank versus Rolly Romero, depending on his pay-per-view, the pay-per-view buys, Rolly may become a pay-per-view star just like that, even though he got knocked out. So, it definitely helps a fighter's career when he goes in with a cash cow and he does well. I mean, to this day, Oscar De La Hoya versus Ike Corte. Everybody knows who Ike Corte is. His whole career, even though he lost the fight to Oscar De La Hoya, it was a close fight, by the way. That put Ike Corte really on the map firmly, and he's like a part of history. I mean, so in my opinion, Ryan Garcia, I mean, he's already, he's all right. He's reasonably popular. But if you want to skyrocket that shit out of there and just really take him to a whole new level, and Oscar De La Hoya's, and Floyd, and just renew those names as well, and Tank, you wanna make that fight. So smash that like button there, Boxing Scientist. Boxing Scientist says Ryan keeps his chin in the air too much. I know what you're talking about, but trust me, when you're fighting tall, so if you look at my promo picture, you'll see Ryan doing this, right? So he has such a long reach that it don't really matter that his chin's up in the air or not, because you have to cover a long distance to get to his chin. Okay? It just so happened Luke Campbell came with a left hook, right? Luke Campbell went low and he looped the hook around and he caught Ryan, right? He caught Ryan. What was Ryan doing? Oh, shit, I'm southpaw, sorry. So he caught Ryan here with a left hook, right? And he dropped him. But he didn't really hurt him. It was a flash knockdown. And even though it was a flush hit on the jaw, he didn't really hurt him. And Luke Campbell can crack. He's a big dude. Obviously he can crack. But Tank's much more compact and smaller. He had to throw a leaping left hook, and he had to hope he ain't leap into a jab or something. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan, once you get close to him, and he's up close, he uses his shoulder to protect his chin. So he's, right there. So he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And Ryan wouldn't run into a punch like Rolly Romero is with his chin up in the air. That wouldn't happen. Nah. Ryan, like I said before, and I'm going to repeat it, Ryan's not Rolly. Rolly's still learning on the job. Ryan's already known what he's known for, in the amateurs. Hey, do you understand that Ryan won 2 fights against Devin Haney, and Devin Haney won 2 fights against Ryan? Okay? He can fight, and he can box. Okay? So if you think that Ryan got his chin, I could show you clips of Floyd Mayweather, and his chin's out there. His chin's right here, out there. Don't mean nothing. Hey, you have to know when to tuck your chin and when not to tuck your chin. You have to know these things. You're not going to tuck your chin all the time. You're just there, tuck your chin fighting. All right, and he's a long, rangy fighter, so he don't have to tuck his chin all the time. Thomas Hearns didn't tuck his chin all the time. All I'm saying is that that chin up in the air thing with Ryan, that only applies when he's not using his reach. But if he's using his reach, if he's using the stick, if he's using the jab, remember, Luke Campbell caught him with a shot. He never caught him again. Right? Because Ryan didn't expect Luke Campbell to be able to cover that distance and hit him with the hook. No, they're 2-2. They're 2-2. So I'm just saying, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, these are tremendous boxers, man. Tremendous boxers. They know boxing quite well. You know. So all I'm saying to you guys is that that would be a hell of a fight. Tank versus Ryan. Tank's a lot shorter, more compact, but remarkably skilled. Can get low, get under punches and stuff. So I'd love to see how that would pan out. But I don't know. See, Tank has been knocking out guys who are good fighters, but he hadn't knocked out no elite fighter. What I mean by that is no real top tier top guy, because he never really faced a top tier top guy. The only top tier top guy that he actually faced was Jose Pedraza, and Jose Pedraza is nowhere near in the vicinity of a Ryan Garcia, or not. He's not even on the level of a Teofimo Lopez or Devin Haney. He's not on their level. He's just not. So who else I would have loved to see Ryan go up against? Jojo Diaz. And Jojo Diaz with Golden Boy. I really wanted to see that fight. I wanted to see what Ryan would do with Jojo Diaz. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm riding with Jojo Diaz on that. Because Jojo Diaz can get to the inside. And I want to see what kind of inside game Ryan has. That's my question. He can keep it long. He's got power. He moves around the ring, establishes range. But can you fight? I mean, I've seen him fight mid-range. Don't get me wrong. He's good at mid-range as well. But I'm like, can you really fight on the inside? Because Jojo Diaz is a master at fighting on the inside. And Devin Haney, I was amazed that Devin Haney was able to handle him so well. Even though Jojo was very competitive and actually giving Devin Haney a lot of hell at a certain point. But Jose Valenzuela would beat all of them at 135. I don't know about that. Jose Valenzuela, he's also long and rangy. He a long rangy dude. He got power too. I love to see all that. I love to see all of them in the mix. I don't think Jose Valenzuela is ready for them though. He ain't ready for them boys right now. He's still on the come up. But Ryan's ready. And the thing about it is, nobody cares about Venezuela like that, or even nobody cares about them dudes. They care about the guys who are the biggest names in boxing. Meaning, Tank ain't gonna be facing no Jose Valenzuela anytime soon, because what he bring to the table? Nothing. Risk versus reward, right? He bring nothing to the table. I'm gonna just give him my name. He gonna just be associated with me and skyrocket out of there? No. Just like how a little Pitbull Cruz, he got big name because he fought Tank. No. I'm not just gonna let you. I don't care if I knock your ass out. I'm not just gonna let you build a name off of me just like that and skip the line. You know what I mean? Because anybody Tank faces, their life is not the same after. They get a name because of that. Rolly Romero, he got knocked out in the 6th round. So everybody going to talk about how Rolly Romero outboxed Tank when that didn't happen. But he built a reputation. Now he have a reputation. Rolly has a reputation. He has a name because he fought Tank. And it's kind of unfair to skip the line. You still developing. You still building your way up. And skip the line over everybody. You might get flat line. But you build a name off of him? No, hell no. No. But Jose Valenzuela got a lot of potential. We'll see how he go. But right now, the biggest fight in boxing, the biggest fight at the 140 to 130 level, is Tank versus Ryan Garcia. It's bigger than Devin Haney versus George Kambosos, which is actually a championship fight. But that's just the way how boxing works. It's much bigger. Okay? Because Ryan is one of those fighters who is an elite fighter. He really is. Kambosos, he's scrappy and stuff, and he can do a couple things, but he's still scrappy. We expect Devin Haney to dispatch him, right? Lomachenko is an exciting fighter and everything, and he's got skills. He got skills, but he's no match for Devin Haney. He's no match for Ryan Garcia. He's no match for Tank. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Those of you who are Loma fans, I have a lot of respect for you guys. I love you guys and everything, But guess what? They dust him. Devin outboxes him. Ryan knocks him out. Tank knocks him out. I'm just being honest with you guys. That's what would happen. These guys are on a totally different level to Lomachenko. You know, and Lomachenko was a good fighter. And you know, excellent amateur and all of that shit. But it is what it is. You know. So, Teofimo Lopez versus Tank at 140. Teo is not Ryan Garcia. Teo don't have no big following. Teo talk a lot, which is good. You know, Teo's like Rolly Romero. You know? So Teo would talk a lot. His dad would talk a lot. You know. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said before. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Teofimo Lopez ain't doing numbers like what Ryan Garcia versus Tank will do. Especially if Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather's fighting on the undercard. It's just not, as a co-main event. That shit gonna sell. Ain't nothing else selling bigger than that. There's nothing else bigger in the sport of boxing than that. Nothing. You can't prove to me that there's anything bigger. Don't forget to smash the like button, boxing science. You know, there's nothing bigger in boxing. At that weight, in between those weight classes, there's nothing bigger. Nothing. Not one damn thing. Okay? You know, strange as it sounds, Tank versus Lomachenko, not as big. And everybody's anticipating that fight. Everybody will want to see that fight. But what we're talking about is, we're talking about a Mayweather Promotions prodigy versus an Oscar Promotions prodigy. And then Mayweather and Oscar fighting on the same card. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. There ain't nothing else. There's nothing else like that. Nothing. Nothing touches that. Oh, come on now. Nothing comes close. Not even Canelo. Canelo could fight whoever he wants right now. Ain't nothing in boxing that could top that. It would be crazy. All right? And I said let them be the co-main event so it will push the product, which would be, you know, Tank and Raleigh. You push the product, Tank and Raleigh. You don't want them on the undercard. You want to feature them so they can become superstars. That would just push them in. You know what I'm saying? You know, crunch the numbers. Crunch the numbers. Crunch the numbers. It'd be a big fight. Big. Ain't nothing bigger than that. You know, Teofimo Lopez, he's with Top Rank, and you know, he talking and stuff. Has he ever even done a pay-per-view? I don't think Teofimo Lopez never even done a pay-per-view. He don't really have a big following, but he talks and he's exciting and he do these little flips and things. But you know, Devin Haney, you know, he got a little following going there. But he don't knock out nobody. He don't just knock the spark out of people. Ryan been knocking people out. You know, ain't faster than Tank. You know what I'm saying? Same people. You know what I'm saying? That bring up a little rivalry and everything, you know? I mean, it's just perfect. It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect matchup. Tank and Ryan, you can't get it bigger than that. You know, and that's just within itself, that particular fight. And then you slap Oscar and Floyd on the co-main event? And on the co-main event? Come on, man. You crazy? That shit was smash pay-per-view records for any fight between 140 and 130. You just smash it. You just destroy it. It wouldn't be an undercard. It would be a co-main event. It'd be the co-main event, so it's not the undercard. It'd be the co-main event. Of course, Floyd would agree to that. Floyd's not that kind of guy. He not. If it make money, it makes sense. In other words, the promoters are sort of ushering in the next generation of fighter. That's what they'd be doing. Not the undercard. I never said undercard. I said co-main event. You don't want no fucking exhibition as the main event. Even though, don't get it wrong, I think Floyd and Oscar would kind of carry that thing, you know, to the next level. So if, all in all, I think that thing does between 1 million and 2 million pay-per-view buys. But, you know, it might even go even beyond that to, Because Floyd's always associated with tremendous pay-per-view buys. Then Oscar wasn't no slouch himself. And then Tank is building up his pay-per-view ratings, and Ryan's a popular guy, right? So all in all, that would just be a monstrous, definitely that thing gonna make money. Now the question will be, here's where the nitty gritty details will go. They probably will co-promote it, so Golden Boy and Mayweather Promotions will have to come back together and co-promote this. Who carries the bulk of the load? Maybe Mayweather Promotions, because Tank is like the A side. It may end up being on Showtime instead of on DAZN, or they may just jointly do it on Showtime and DAZN. Because we're talking about, this is going to be a major, big promotional event. This is not no small, slouchy thing. I don't know if Floyd would want it. Floyd was talking about something special at the end of the year in Dubai. So Floyd probably have other plans. But what I'm just saying is that when you're talking about a big event, there's room for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be big. It's going to be monstrous. And as an exhibition, you can't get better than that. You can't get better. The only other thing better than that would be a Mayweather-Pacquiao exhibition, right? Ain't nothing big. I don't think so, at least. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think Jake Paul versus Mayweather versus Pacquiao versus Mayweather. I think Pacquiao versus Mayweather is a bigger event than Jake Paul versus Mayweather. But I'm going to tell you this. Pacquiao and Mayweather was never considered a close fight. Oscar and Floyd, by some people even believe Oscar beat Floyd. Oscar versus Floyd was a bigger event. Now the only question is Oscar still training? Is Oscar still in the gym? Is Oscar still taking care of his body to do this exhibition? Because Oscar does do exhibitions, okay? And so that's the question that we need to know, right? Because Floyd's always training. Floyd's always, in shape. So if Oscar versus Floyd happens as an exhibition, shit. All right? And then Tank versus Rolly happens after that fight, which is what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see Tank versus Rolly. They've been building this thing for a little while. Not Rolly, sorry, I'm Ryan, right? Shit. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? That would be, cha-ching! I think so. I don't know. I haven't crunched the numbers. Maybe when they crunch the numbers, they'll find out what the demand for that is, and so on and so on. And you can't just talk about fight fans. You gotta kind of put it out there in just the general population, see what they feel, see how they think about that. Do they even understand? They have to run their diagnostics or whatever they run, and then they would know, if this is a good idea or not. If it don't happen, then probably wasn't a good idea, or maybe all parties couldn't agree to it. But that's some serious money that you're leaving on the table. You know what I'm saying? And then both fighters in their prime. Both fighters undefeated. I mean, you take the opportunity while it's hot. And Tank said, Ryan, you're next. I'm telling you, man. Tank knows. They all know. Okay? And it looks like, I believe Tank's going to stay with Mayweather Promotions. And he's going to do it through them. I'm telling you, man, that's a hell of a fight right there. Because Devin Haney's going to be tied up with Kambosos, depending on how he beats Kambosos. If he puts a beating on Kambosos, he really beats him up really bad and hurts him really bad, possibly Kambosos might just say, you know what, fuck that. We're not doing no rematch. But if I know Kambosos, he could have an eye out his socket hanging down. He going to fight. Okay, Kambosos. The one thing, if y'all don't know nothing about Kambosos, is that motherfucker could fight, and that motherfucker will fight till he's dead. Okay, you have to kill Kambosos to stop him. That's one attribute of Kambosos I really love, and I love Kambosos. I love his intensity. The two fighters, I gotta say, they got some really great attributes. Even though I said Devin Haney's gonna beat him, I really like Kambosos. Is a very admirable guy, and he's gonna be looking for wherever he can. He's gonna try and find a way to win. He's gonna try and find a way to win. I can tell you that. and he gets the opportunity, he gets any opportunity, he's going to capitalize on that. So, um, but I mean, Devin Haney going to be occupied with Kambosos unless, of course, he really, really seriously hurt Kambosos, and Kambosos had to go to the hospital at the end of the fight. Then you're talking about, okay, maybe Devin Haney will just have a Lomachenko fight after, and then he'll be able to face Tank. But Haney versus Tank is not as big a fight. For the fight fan, it's going to be a big fight. That's going to be a big fight. Why do you think that Tank will stay with Mayweather when Tank has started his own promotion? Oh, he started his own. GTD Promotions been around for a while. For a very long time. GTD Promotions. Yeah. In fact, Tank, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Tank has always had GTD Promotions. But it's a smaller company, and you need to get a license to actually promote. So like how Mayweather Promotions was working in conjunction with Golden Boy, that's what's basically going on. GTD Promotions is working in conjunction with Mayweather Promotions. In fact, if you look on the last fight, you would see GTD Promotions on the card, on the fight card, on the posters and shit. And if you look, Tank, all of Tank's team has GTD on it. Okay? So Tank's going to move off on his own very soon, but I just don't think he's going to do it right now. He's going to do it. He's going to step away. I'm sure his contract's going to be probably for a year or whatever with Mayweather Promotions. But what Tank is doing, he put pressure on Mayweather Promotions to let him know, hey, man, I need to fight these big dudes. I need to fight the big fights, So that's what he's saying. He's saying, I'm your cash cow, so give me more say in what I need to do. So he was basically negotiating. That's what was really going on. And I think Mayweather Promotions, I know Leonard L.B., understands, and even Coach Calvin, they won the big fights. Now, but the big fights right now at lightweight are locked up, right? Devin Haney's locked up with Kambosos, and he's locked up with Lomachenko after that. So, a possible Tank fight with any one of those top guys right now is not very possible. It's just not realistic. So the next best thing is Ryan Garcia. All roads lead to Ryan. You see what I'm saying? So no matter what, that's the fight that really, if they got to make a fight happen, that's the fight that needs to happen. And once Ryan Garcia wants this fight, he really wants it. Once Tank wants this fight, the fighter's going to make it happen. They're going to make it happen. And Ryan always wanted to face Tank. Always wanted to face him. But if Ryan thinks he's going to get Tank out of there in 1 round or 2 rounds, that's not happening. That's not happening. Why should Tank do that when it would put more money in his own pocket? It won't. That's my point. You see, promotional companies like Mayweather Promotions, they are very good at making big fights. Big fights. Lucrative fights. So Tank should be picking their brains and building, if he doesn't have a team around him, building a team around him with trustworthy people to be able to do that. And I know Floyd probably dispensed a lot of information to Tank, so Tank has a lot of know-how about how to do that. But it's still, the Mayweather Promotions is so far ahead, Let me tell you when Tank can be in a position to do that. Just like with Canelo. When Canelo was grossing in 35 million, 40 million, right, per fight, he didn't need Golden Boy no more, right? He could go off on his own. Tank's not there yet. He's only getting like guaranteed $2 million for a fight. When Tank becomes a megastar, he hasn't reached it yet. Once he reaches that crescendo where he tips over to become a megastar, that's when he doesn't need Mayweather Promotions anymore. And hopefully he has loyal, people and a proper mix of people around him to take it to the next level. If Tank tries to do it with just Al Heyman, I mean, the success and the kind of growth that he has had with Mayweather Promotions, he won't have that kind of growth and success. It took Errol Spence a good minute to get where he's at. Tank has done it in much shorter time. Much shorter time. Because the people who made Floyd Mayweather so big, so tremendous, those are the same people making Tank this tremendous name. Tank's crossing over into mainstream now. He's crossing over into mainstream, right? So he's on the cusp of becoming a superstar. I mean a real superstar, a bona fide superstar, the man in boxing. He's on the cusp of becoming the face of boxing. You understand what I'm saying? Canelo is still kind of like the face of boxing right now. He's still the guy that collects the most cash. He's still a cash cow and all of that. He's doing what he's doing. But the formula that Mayweather Promotions is putting down on Tank will get him to be the face of boxing in a not too distant future. He's going to be the face of boxing. And then whatever Tank want to do after that is up to him. Right? So, if Tank want to move off on his own, he could do it. I mean, he's in that position right now in between contracts where he could do whatever he wants to do. You know what I mean? And his coach and trainer and everybody just watching to see what he will do. But I'm telling you, the next guy that Tank has to go after is Ryan Garcia. And he got to have a good team so that he does it, so that it actually favors him. Right? And he can get the biggest possible payday possible. You understand what I'm saying? And if I was him, I would rock with Mayweather Promotions again, because they did such an excellent job at getting him to this point that they obviously can get him to even a greater point. And then he's calling for big money from here on in, because that Ryan Garcia fight, if he can nail it down, leads Tank into, we talking 7 figures and up, right? What is he? No, he earned 7 figures already, 8 figures. We talking 8-figure paydays. That's what we talking about. Especially if he wins the Ryan Garcia fight. That's 8-figure paydays. 8-figure paydays. So you go from 7-figure paydays to 8-figure paydays. Nothing less. Just 8-figure paydays. That's what you're talking about, right? It won't be 9-figure paydays, because he won't get the bulk of the money, because the promoters who will be fighting on there, they'll probably get the bulk of the money. But his promotional company and him, they will be getting 8-figure. I'm talking high 8-figure paydays. High 8-figure paydays. So going from a 6-figure payday, 7-figure payday, to a high 8-figure payday, that's a big upgrade. Right? So, I mean, Tank, he's moving along well. Mayweather Promotion is moving him along well. And I don't think he could generate that kind of money with just his company, just his promotional company. I don't think he could do that. Even if he would have faced Ryan Garcia by going across to the zone, which would be stupid because you're the A side, that should happen in Showtime. And then on top of that, trying to do a negotiation with Golden Boy, and Golden Boy will only get him a cut. No. That's that, and it wouldn't be as big because Mayweather wouldn't be there, and just a lot of variables, And of course, a lot of people would be like, "Why Mayweather would go secondary to Tank?" Because Mayweather is introducing Tank to the big leagues. Because he wants Tank to do well, and he's done. He's done with boxing, so he don't need a, and he gonna get the bulk of the money anyway. So. Well, not the bulk of the money, but he's going to get a substantial portion of the money. So, at the end of the day, why not? And plus, it's going to be in conjunction with GTD Promotions anyway. They're going to have to put out some money too, right? All the promoters will have to put out money. So, GTD will have a part in that, because Tank wants to go off on his own promotional company. So, obviously, GTD Promotions will have to put out some money too, right? So, ultimately, in the end, that's how it'll be. Tank's a little boss. He's just like Devin Haney Promotions. Devin Haney Promotions, and what I like about Kambosos, he have his own promotional company too. And they're working through Lou DiBella, who's working through Top Rank. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that you're your own boss. Tank's a boss, all right, and he's going to negotiate with Leonard as a boss. You get what I'm saying? GTD Promotions is actually doing negotiations with Mayweather Promotions. That's how it works. All right? For those of you who don't know. Canelo had Canelo Promotions. Canelo Promotions was working with Golden Boy Promotions. That's how it was being done. So if you guys don't know that, well, that's the way how it's business. It's business. And GTD Promotion has its own team. You understand? And Leonard Ellerby was explaining that. And then you have, so and if you look at Tank is kind of mirroring some of the things that Mayweather does, and then he's doing his own thing at the same time. So you can tell he knows what the green print is to make money, and he's sort of right now apprenticing under the business models that Mayweather Promotion has, and he's learned that green print perfectly so he can replicate it to the max. And Floyd knows, Tank's not going to stay with Mayweather Promotions, just like how Floyd didn't stay with Top Rank. Okay, but Top Rank was a great building ground. They build fighters really, really well, and Floyd was built very, very well, and then he went off on his own. It's not no hard feelings for nobody. You understand? And this is business. Errol Spence and the Charlos have their own promotional company. You see how they're living. They don't have to split with no one. Okay, so let me explain a little something to you, right? Errol Spence, if he had linked with, it depends on what promotional company you link with. It depends on your contract with that promotional company. Canelo was making serious dollars with Golden Boy. Serious money with Golden Boy. Serious money with Golden Boy. All right? Because he was working through Canelo Promotions with Golden Boy Promotions. So that's why when he severed ties with Golden Boy legally, because they didn't keep their contractual agreement, and went on his own, he could manage to do that. And he's still collecting, 8-figure paydays, right? But Canelo, depending on what promotional company, you're talking about, okay, let me explain something. Golden Boy's good. All right, Golden Boy's good. When Floyd was with Golden Boy, he was getting 8-figure paydays. But what do you think Golden Boy was getting? What do you think Golden Boy was getting? That's right. Golden Boy was getting 10-figure paydays, right? All right, let's make this make sense. So Mayweather Promotions separated from Golden Boy, and now they're doing their own thing. They have their own, their license and everything. Mayweather Promotions with Tank, they're making good money with Tank. When Tank separates from Mayweather Promotions, Tank's still gonna make what Tank make. So Tank only makes guaranteed $2 million. He probably make $10 million when all is said and done. That's what he gets in his hand, right? GTD Promotions get like $10 million per fight. Okay. Now here's the thing, and if you do pay-per-view, you get back in. Now here's the thing: when Tank separates from Mayweather Promotions, that's all he's gonna be making. Just like our Canelo's only making 8-figure paydays. That's all he makes. He doesn't make 10-figure paydays. He doesn't make 9-figure paydays. His paydays haven't gone up since he left Golden Boy. He's still making the same thing. So he could have stayed with Golden Boy if he wanted to. It's just that he wanted to have his own decision making, his own choice making on how he wanted to proceed. Okay. Now, Mayweather Promotions is a bit different. Mayweather Promotions built Tank from zero, and they building them up, and he's making more and more figure paydays. Tank hasn't made 10-figure paydays yet. I mean, guaranteed, that is. He hasn't made guaranteed 10-figure payday. So if he leaves, he's just going to be topping out at whatever he has? No, that make no sense, because he's not a superstar yet. Canelo is he's broken into mainstream. He's big in Mexico, etc. So it's in Tank's best interest to build up to a certain point, and then he could go wherever the hell he wants to go. You know what I mean? And Mayweather Promotions is trying to get him to that point where he can leave and do whatever he wants to. They're not going to hold on to him. And you even see it. Floyd's like, I wish you very well. Whatever you want to do, go ahead, brother. I'm always with you. Right? Because Floyd gave Tank all his secrets, but it takes time to build up to that point. So, and the Mayweather Promotion is doing an excellent job with Tank. So I don't know what I don't know what you see there, but whatever. Yeah, Errol Spence and the Charlos, but see, Errol Spence don't make 8-figure paydays. Charlos and they don't make 8-figure paydays. You got to get to the 8-figure payday. You understand what I'm saying? They still building. In fact, I argue that Tank's a bigger name than Errol Spence, and he's definitely a bigger name than the Charlos. He a bigger name than the Charlos. Okay? You don't hear Tank talking about the Charlos. You hear Tank talking about Canelo. There's a reason Tank's talking about Canelo. Canelo make 8-figure paydays. That's where Tank want to be. You don't hear him. You don't hear him really talking about the Charlos. You don't hear him, and they living good. Don't get me wrong. They living good. But they don't make 10-figure paydays. Okay, Errol Spence don't make 10-figure paydays. You get what I'm saying? So Tank should stay with Mayweather Promotions and make those 8-figure paydays. And you make it 8-figure paydays, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do from there on in. Because you can manage your promotional company, maintain it to a certain degree, get fighters under you. And Canelo has fighters under him. You know what I mean? Charlo and they have fighters under them too. But it's just, they had to accrue their money and gather it. Don't get me wrong, $2 million for a fight is a lot of money. It strips down to probably you take home maybe $1 million, maybe after all is said and done, maybe $1.2 million probably you take home. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that, as much as that's a lot of money, Tank is valued way above that. And so, and that's guaranteed. I'm talking guaranteed money. I'm not talking. So I'm just saying, a Tank versus Ryan Garcia, you can't get it. You can't get it big. You can't get it big as Mayweather Promotions can get it big. You just can't, because the Mayweather Promotion have something, and Golden Boy Promotions has something. They got a trump card in there. Mayweather Promotions got Mayweather, and Golden Boy Promotions got the Golden Boy. So when you slap that together, two promoters going at it, plus two of their star fighters going at it, you can't beat that. There's nothing to beat that in boxing. No other combination. Nothing. There's nothing like that anywhere around. And they have that opportunity. Oscar and Floyd have an opportunity to make big money. Big money. And that depends on if Tank signs on. Because if Tank signs on, we're talking Tank talking about, I believe that's going to be an 8-figure payday. Something that none of those other guys, all them other guys you mentioned, Errol Spence, Charlo, all them other guys, they're not getting that. Okay? Ryan Garcia, he about to get a 7-figure payday off of that. A high 7-figure payday. You know what I mean? That's going to be his biggest payday ever. That's what Golden Boy owes to him, I believe. Now, I don't know, but I'm just thinking, and that's the highest that Ryan Garcia would ever get. And they would owe him that. A 7-figure payday, and a high 7-figure payday. We talking like $8 million guaranteed. Tank something like $60 million guaranteed. I'm talking big money. Big money. I'm talking big money for that fight. Big money for that fight. Of course, maybe not that high. Maybe $40 million, right? Because you got to pay Floyd and you got to pay Oscar, and they're gonna be like, we talking $100 million or something like that. You know what I mean? They're gonna have big money for them, and then these two new guys getting this tremendous sum of money. We talking big money because we talking what, 2 million pay-per-view buys? Maybe even 3 million pay-per-view buys. I don't want to bulge people's eyes too much, but it'll be a big fight. It'll be a really, really big fight because everybody gonna know about it outside of boxing. That's a fight that's gonna happen outside. Because Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, that alone, that shit alone, that's over 100. That's over 1 million pay-per-view buys right there. Because the last time they fought, they made 2.2 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, this one's an exhibition, so that's how. 1.5 million, maybe 1 million. It depends on how they sell it. It depends on how they're what conditioning they're in and whatever. But that's over 1 million pay-per-view buys, we could safely say. And then Tank versus Ryan, boosted by that, is another 1 million pay-per-view buys, I believe. So we're talking about somewhere around 2 million pay-per-view buys, between 1 million and 2 million pay-per-view buys. We really are talking about that. At, I don't know, $100, $80, and we know it's going to be action. We know those are going to be action-packed fights. Because Oscar De La Hoya is an action-packed fighter. He throw a lot of punches. Okay? And Ryan is an action-packed fighter. And Tank's a guy that knocks people out. Right? And Ryan knocks people out. Tank knocks people. Just the styles make for exciting fights. You know, it just makes for exciting fights. And that stuff, I mean, that's... Is there something better than Crawford versus Spence? That's it. That card would blow away Crawford versus Spence. Because that's just an incredible card right there. And it's not even a championship fight. Not a real one. You know. So, I wanted to talk about that because Tank was talking about, you know, facing Ryan. But you put heavy hitters on that card. And those heavy hitters smart enough and humble enough to understand that they want to boost these fighters and launch them out into there. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Definitely will give Ryan Garcia a big boost in his career. Win, lose, or draw. And I honestly think that's a very competitive fight. Very competitive fight. You're talking about two of the future greatest fighters. The definitely future Hall of Famers you're talking about there. So, I truly believe Tank versus Ryan Garcia would be a good fight. Excellent fight. And Ryan's a challenge because Ryan's long, he's fast. You know, Tank is skilled, short, you know, powerful as well. And that's a good fight. That's a very, very good fight. Very, very good fight. Very, very good fight. There's nothing, I don't think there's anything else that's as good and available. And available. I'm telling you, man. I'm just telling you. That's the fight to have. That's the fight fans should call for because you can't get the Devin Haney fight. Devin Haney's locked up. So you can't get undisputed, which would be cool. He's locked up with Top Rank. Okay? Shakur's at 130. Let him chill at 130. Let him do his thing. You know what I mean? Teofimo Lopez, that would have been a good fight, but Teo, he lost. See, Teo didn't lose to Kambosos, of all people. If he didn't lose to Kambosos, you know, it puts so much more shine on it. But he's shown vulnerabilities. He's shown he could get countered. He's shown he could get hit. You know, he came off of a great win against Vasily Lomachenko. That was a great win. Great high, everything. And then he screwed it up with Kambosos. He screwed it up. He threw away the die. So ain't nobody want to really see Teo. Teo just coming off a loss. Why would Tank face a guy coming off a loss? I mean, it don't really, like, all of that plays into it all. You know what I'm saying? Teo have to regroup himself and get himself back together. Try to get undisputed probably, or he can't be undisputed anymore because they stripped Josh Taylor of the WBA title. So they, you know, maybe he can grab a title there, you know, a WBA title or something, and try and work his way back up because he lost. You lost all those belts and everything and messed it up. You know, fucked up the money like Devin Haney said. He fucked up the money. So here's what it is. You know, you got to understand, these fighters are still building themselves. And Teo's a hell of a fighter. I think he's going to do well. He might even end up in the Boxing Hall of Fame. But as of now, he's got some building to do, and he just needs to stay humble and keep on building. You know what I mean? You know, Rolly Romero actually hit the jackpot better than Teo did. I believe Rolly's got paid more than Teo did for the Lomachenko fight. I think Rolly got more money. If I'm not mistaken, Rolly's purse was 1.2 million or something like that, which is almost comparable to Teo, guaranteed. And it's a pay-per-view. He's gonna get a piece of the pay-per-view for sure. So, I mean, Rolly Romero, I mean, he did very, very well in terms of money. You know, and he's gonna improve. He's gonna get better. He's gonna get better. But I mean, just in terms of if you guys talking about in terms of best fight out there, that's what I see. I see Ryan Garcia is the best fighter out there. The Boxing Scientist says Tank don't need Floyd is no more. I think you mean he doesn't need Floyd anymore. Tank's name is big enough now to move on and make the majority of his money without Mayweather promotion dipping in his money. That's the thing. See, you don't understand boxing. You would never say something so ignorant. How is Mayweather Promotions dipping in his money when Mayweather Promotions is the ones that had to pay him? When Mayweather Promotions is the ones that have to make the fights big. That they're the ones pushing the fight. They're the ones behind the scenes making the event so successful. What are you talking about, man? Like, do you even know what a promoter's supposed to do? These guys are doing what they're supposed to do. This is what they're supposed to do for fighters. They're actually doing what a real promotional company is supposed to be doing, not what Bob Arum was doing with Terrence Crawford. Bob Arum was fucking Terrence Crawford over. Okay? Y'all don't talk about Bob Arum like that. Come on, man. Mayweather Promotions is actually making Tank the biggest name in boxing. That's what they're doing. You never hear Leonard Ellaby say anything negative about Gervonta Tank Davis. Never once. Never once. Never once. Bob Arum disrespected Terrence Bud Crawford. And guess what? Terrence Bud Crawford be knocking out at fools left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. Knocking out fools. But Bob Arum's talking about, oh, you can't sell things. If I gotta get my mansion in Hollywood, I could have bought a mansion by now. Fuck out of here, man. Fuck Bob Arum. Fuck Bob Arum. Mayweather Promotions believe in their fighters. Even after Raleigh Romero got knocked stupid. Stupid. I watched the guy, and he's leaving the ring. He's still looking stupefied, and he still had to lean on people and stuff. All right, that's why he didn't do no interview, because he got knocked upside the head. He's still stupefied, and his father just want to make sure you're okay. You know what I'm saying? And Leonard Ellaby, in true promotional style, is bigging up Raleigh Romero. Tank, at the end of the fight, still bigging up Raleigh Romero. Still encouraging. Where do you ever see that? So come on, man. Come on, don't be doing that. Even Eddie Hearn, even after Canelo lost to Bivol, which is Eddie Hearn's guy. Bivol's Eddie Hearn's guy. Eddie Hearn turns around and says, you know, Canelo, man, still a great fighter, still #1 pound for pound. He's talking all these good things about Canelo. What I'm trying to say to you is, fucking Terrence Crawford tearing people down, destroying people. I mean, gutting them. And after such great performances, Bob Arum has the audacity to say he's not selling nothing. He's no. Get the fuck out of here, Bob Arum. I don't like negative people. I don't like people who, you know, they're not beneficial to the fighter. You know what I'm saying? They're antagonistic to certain fighters. Okay? So I'm glad Terrence Crawford's away from Bob Arum. Fuck Bob Arum, you know. But with respect to Tank, I can't say that about Mayweather Promotions. I can't say that Mayweather Promotions fucked Tank over, stole his money. How the fuck did they steal his money? How the fuck did they paid Tank? Tank is the highest paid motherfucking athlete from those weight classes. How are they stealing Tank's money? You know, I just don't understand, you fans. I really don't. Y'all got it ass backwards. Y'all got it ass backwards. The people who are actually helping people and actually bringing them forward, you disrespect them. But the motherfuckers who clearly are fucking over fighters, y'all embrace them. I don't understand it. Tank must leave Mayweather Promotions. But I heard fans, I know some of us as fans, we were saying, Terrence need to leave Bob. He need to leave Bob. Bob ain't doing nothing for Terrence. Now Terrence is suing Bob. Okay? So my point is, you know, you'll never see Tank sue Mayweather Promotions. You'll never see him do that. Alright? You know, I got love for AB as well. AB Promotions. Adrian Broner has his own promotional company and everything too. Alright? But, like I said before, if you look at Mayweather Promotions, look what they did for Raleigh Romero. They put Raleigh Romero in title contention. It's a paper title. But if you look at Mayweather Promotions, they try to get all their fighters that are on their roster a championship fight. That's what Mayweather Promotions has been doing consistently. Consistently. Or you gonna get a shot at the title. You think you ready? Okay. I remember Gerald Heraldez. He got his shot at Regis Prograis. He was calling out Regis Prograis. Mayweather Promotions made it happen. You want Regis Prograis? Regis Prograis obliterated his ass. But he wanted that. He got it. You look at what's this kid's name? Badu Jack. Badu Jack. You know, Mayweather Promotions put him in a position multiple times for world championships. He even faced Adonis Stevenson. We argue he beat Adonis Stevenson, but the judges didn't give him it, right? But you know, Badu Jack been in with he been with Porky. He been in with you know who Porky is, right? Porky's what's the kid's name? Again, he didn't get the decision, but he should have gotten the decision. James DeGale, they call him Porky, right? He was in there with James DeGale. He was in there with the guy that faced Carl Froch. I forgot what his name is. He was in there. Mayweather Promotion put you in a position to get a championship fight. This guy, this kid, what's his name? We don't hear about him much, but he around. From Detroit, right? They got him a title shot. He got obliterated, but he got a title shot. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what his name is though. He training now. You know, my boy who faced Scooter. Scooter is Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton faced the Mexican kid who got skills and everything, and he fought his ass out too against Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton beat him, but he became WBO champion though. WBO or WBC, I can't remember. Right? At super bantamweight. You know, that kid, he became a champion too. You know, Mickey Bay got his shot. And so on and so on and so on. That's what Mayweather Promotions do. They are pro boxer. Mickey Bay still got screwed over, not by Floyd, but by what that kid name? I forgot what his name is. Who manages as well. They have different managers. One of them was a manager. He screwed him over. But the point is, Mickey Bay was a champion, right? And you will see Mayweather Promotions always trying to move their fighters into position to get title fights at the same time. So this is what Mayweather Promotions did. They got Rolly Romero a title shot. They got him ready as best as he could be to face Tank because they had it. It was an in-house fight. What's wrong with that? I don't know. You know, people go in on Tank a lot because Tank is not doing things in the traditional way. And a lot of people are worried that the traditional way of boxing will fall through, but it will not. It will not fall through. It will not fall through. We'll still have title shots. We'll still have undisputed. We'll still have all those things in boxing. But y'all need to be a little bit more open-minded. Y'all have to be a little bit more creative. Y'all have to understand that boxing is entertainment. And once you get a good scrap, you get a good fight. Rolly Romero versus Tank was a good scrap. It was a good scrap. You know, in spots it was competitive. You know, in spots it was competitive. Right? Rolly Romero got his lick in. He got his, you know, his left hook in there. And Tank realized, yeah, I got to respect this dude. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. The Boxing Insider says, how many losses Loma has? But none of these fighters you mentioned can beat him. Losses don't define you. I agree. You a Loma fan, so I understand. I'm a Loma fan myself. I'm not saying no. Loma did some phenomenal things. But I'm going to tell you this. Loma can't fuck with those three guys I just mentioned. He can't fuck with Ryan. He can't fuck with Devin. If you know boxing, you know he can't fuck with those guys. He couldn't even fuck with Teofimo Lopez. I predicted that Teofimo Lopez would beat his ass. I knew how exactly he was going to beat him, and I described it. Alright? He can't fuck with them youngsters. He can't. He just can't. Right? And I'm not trying to disrespect Loma. He's going to go around in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's going to go, he's one of the all-time greats. But he had his time. He had his time. This is not his time. He'll never become champion again. Not with these guys around. He's never going to have it. And Devin Haney going to get first dibs on him, it looks like. So, the guy, so finally Devin Haney going to get the fight he wanted. He going to get the Loma fight. He don't want it now because there's more appetizing, much more tougher competition out there, but he gonna clean up Loma and then he gonna go on to other things. And the thing about it is, pick your poison, Loma. You got Shakur at 130. You got Devin Haney at 135. You're going to have to pick your poison because both of them coming for you. They sharks. They young, strong, and they know their fucking boxing. So you can't slip up on either of them. They'll give you, both of them give you an ass whooping. It ain't going to be competitive. You know? It's just what it is. I'm not trying to disrespect Loma, but I'm just saying, them motherfuckers ain't Nakatani. Them motherfuckers ain't Richard Comey. Them motherfuckers know what they do. They know the angles, they know the movement, everything. And they'll fuck you up. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know, boxing insiders. That's just boxing. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I'm not trying to, you know, hate on nobody or nothing like that. He's the past. And if you don't understand that, and y'all don't understand, y'all gonna see him get his ass beaten into the past. That's how ruthless boxing is. Then you will realize, oh yeah, he wasn't on that level. The future is Haney, Ryan, Tank. We got some other young guys coming up, like you said, Jose Valenzuela. All them guys. Them is the future. And if your old ass don't realize that, you will get beaten out of it. So that you will understand. Your time, you had your time. You had your time. It's over. And Loma knows this because he sparred Shakur and he had Shakur as his main spar. Trust me, the older fighters know when their time is up and it's time for the younger guys to come through. They know that. They know that. You know, you just want to share the ring, pass the torch, that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. I love Loma. I love Loma. I love his style of boxing. You know, and how he would bedazzle guys. Because if you get a step ahead of you, he bedazzle your ass. You can't sleep on Loma. You can't sleep on him. You know, he's a great fighter. You know, I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything like that. I just know, you know, when you know boxing, you know boxing. You know what it is. You know, and his time's up though. It is what it is. You know, Tio brought in a new era, and that's that. You know what I mean? He might be able to beat Kambosos. Who knows? I don't think so, but as classical and as good as he is, Kambosos is just too tenacious, I think. And I think, Kambosos will still get hit and shit. Loma might even tag his ass up at a certain point, but he gonna come back. Kambosos always come back with something. He always come back with something. He always have a final say. He always gonna put his stamp on shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't even see him. He's probably a step or two below Loma in terms of where he would be ranked, but you know, he a scrappy dude. He an underdog. He will fight to the end. I'm telling you, man, Kambosos ain't gonna quit. He have no quitting him. No quitting that motherfucker. That motherfucker will fight to the end. You heard him. He's a Spartan. He is a fucking Spartan. He has tenacity. That ninja has tenacity, man. I love him. I love Kambosos. You know. And that's why he became world champion. Because, quite frankly, Tio is the superior fighter of the two. And he beat Tio. Shit, I can't even believe I said that. You know what I mean? And Tio just needed to pump that jab. He just pumped the jab. He was afraid of incoming. And when he started pumping his jab, he knocked down Kambosos. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. So you learn that it's not just boxing skills. It's heart. It's tenacity. It's the desire to win. That's even more important at certain points in time. PBC and Al Heyman pays everyone. Do your homework before you say outlandish stuff like that. Outlandish stuff like what? I didn't say anything outlandish. Mayweather Promotions, the promotional company, pays the fighters. It ain't Al Heyman pay the fighter. Al Heyman a manager. Al Heyman's a manager. This dick, I mean, you understand that? Your check, okay. Al Heyman gave Floyd Mayweather a check, so you think that Al Heyman's the guy that's paying everybody? No, it's Mayweather Promotions. Mayweather Promotions pays Floyd Mayweather. Understand? The promotional company is the ones that give the checks. A manager can't give checks. A manager just manages your career. Otherwise, Al Heyman would be violating what is called the Ali Act. So no matter if Al Heyman, if people say Al Heyman gave Floyd a check or whatever, it's Mayweather Promotions that gave Floyd Mayweather a check. You understand? Your manager is not supposed to be dealing with your money. Your manager is supposed to manage your career, get you fights, get certain things organized. They can organize your career, like plan your career. Okay, this is the path that you're gonna go, and all of that kind of shit. You call a manager advisor, but it's the promotional company that pays the bills. It's the promotional company that covers the cost for the promotion, and then whatever earnings come out of that promotion, it's the promotional company that pays the fighters. I'm letting you know what it is. I don't care what you've seen on TV. That's the way how it works. The money comes from PBC and Al Heyman. No, money doesn't come from Al Heyman, you fool. It don't come from Al Heyman. Well, Al Heyman have a bag and all right, I'm going to pay you all this. And, no, bro, it don't work like that. The money comes from what we call sponsors for the PBC. PBC got sponsors. Al Heyman gets sponsors. The sponsor the PBC, not Al Heyman. Al Heyman has something called Al Heyman Inc. Company Limited. It's Managerial Inc. Limited. Okay, and you see the two. I forgot what their name is. The something twins and the other guy. They're the guys who they always with the fighters. They always, you see them coming in the ring with the fighters. I forgot what the guys' names are. Right? That is part of Al Heyman's company. Okay? He has a company that is a managerial company. Okay? Al Heyman is the dude. He's one of the dudes. He's not the only dude. He's one of the dudes because the way how they sit down and they talk is this. If you have a promotional company, it means you have a promotional team. Just because you haven't seen, for instance, you haven't seen all of Jamal Charlo's team. The people who are caught on camera is usually Jamal Charlo. He be talking because he's the face of his company. Okay? And Lions Only is Jamal Charlo's company. Jamal Charlo has a different company. Anyways, that's besides the point. The point is that you're seeing the face of the company, but there's other people in the background of that company, okay? Because the company can't run itself. So that's why you hear guys like Jamal Charlo, Leonard Ellaby, and you heard Tank say, I'm going to have to sit down with my team and we'll see what's coming next. The team that he's talking about is Al Heyman, Leonard Ellaby, and whether it's the publicist, Kelly Swanson, or whoever his publicist is, because I see Tank has a certain publicist that he has his own publicist now. It's not Kelly Swanson. It's a young lady, sort of dark skinned, kind of look Asianish, who she says that's enough questions and moves on to the next. So you see, it's a huge but small team. Okay, so I'm trying to explain to you the business of boxing because you guys get carried away on a lot of shit. Al Heyman is an advisor. He's not the guy who pays the fighters. However, legally speaking, these fighters are all of those fighters have a promotional company that they're affiliated to. All of them. All right. It used to be Lou DiBella. Now it is TGB Promotions. TGB Promotions, Tom Brown Promotions, promotes the fighters. That's the guy that pays the fighters. Okay? So, if you don't have a promoter, TGB Promoters is the umbrella that Al Heyman works with to pay the fighters. Tom Brown Promotions. It used to be Lou DiBella and some other guys, but now it's just TGB Promotions. So you would hear people say thank you to Al Heyman after they say thank you to God. Then they say thank you to TGB Promotions. The other promotional company that works with Al Heyman and the PBC is Mayweather Promotions. But then you also have other promotional companies like, as you said, Lions Only Promotions, you know. But if you pay attention, there are also little promotional companies. Many little promotional. So for example, and not all of these promotional companies and not all of these fighters are managed by Al Heyman. I'll give you an example. David Benavidez, while I believe he's managed by Al Heyman, but he is promoted by what's the guy's name? He's promoted by I forgot his name. Okay? Jerome Ennis. He has a direct contract with Showtime. He's been on the PBC many times. Jerome Ennis is not managed by Al Heyman. Okay? He's not. And he doesn't have a promotional company, but he has a direct contract with Showtime. So I want you to understand there are many different ways to move around this thing. I know there's several other fighters I could talk about and how they're managed and how Showtime pays Jerome Ennis directly. Okay? Because he doesn't have a promotional company. He has a direct deal with Showtime. Okay? So maybe you just need to know the business of boxing before you talk because you sound very illiterate about it. And you need to understand promotional companies, their job is to promote the fighter. The manager is in a conjunction with the promotional company, they work on the next direction the fighter has, the next fight the fighter has. That is to say, who's the next guy. And these managerial companies work along with the promotional companies' matchmakers. So that's the way how it works. Everybody has their role in boxing. And then you have the publicists. The publicists will deal with interviews, setting up talk shows to go on, setting up any public event. The publicist is involved in that. And then you have your overall umbrella, which is the promotional company, which now they do all the advertising, they cover the cost for advertising, they cover the cost for all of the transport and all those kinds of things for the fighters to get to where they need to go. Boxing is a very expensive business, if you didn't know. And so what happens is the promotional company puts out ridiculous sums of money to get the promotion going, and if it's like a mega event, like if Tank was to face Ryan Garcia, the promotional company has to put all of the, Mayweather Promotions is very, 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 very efficient and very good at this. They put out, before they even make the announcement and everything, they're putting out money, right? So once the contract is signed and everything, and usually they try to get that done sort of on the D-low. They don't want to do that. They don't like doing all these deals and negotiations in the public eye. So they're doing their thing in the background, right? Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes a couple months, whatever. But in the meantime, while these deals are doing and these contracts are being made and so on, you got to understand a lot of money is being put out to the lawyers to make these drafts for the contracts. And there's a lot of legal stuff going on in the background that you guys don't know nothing about, and that the promotional company has to cover the cost for that. Ain't no way no fighter taking that out of their purse to do all of that. So you understand that it's a lot of money that goes into first nailing down a deal, and there's a lot of more money the promotional company has to pour out. So when a deal goes sour or a deal goes south, it's fucked up because a lot of money was put out. And that's why guys are really mad and they're really angry, that the fight didn't go down, and they get pissed off because it's a lot of money you got to put out first. Like with the Rolly Romero push, let's say Rolly Romero for some reason decides, man, I'm too badly injured, I ain't fighting tomorrow. That's fucked up. You're talking about, close to $1 million. To think of a political campaign. That's basically what it is. It's like a political campaign which costs millions of dollars. These promotional companies put out millions of dollars to get this thing going, advertising it, getting it in the public eye, stressing it over and over in press conferences, getting the paperwork together, the contracts, etc. Right? It's millions and millions of dollars go down that they put out. This promotional company, right? For somebody to say after the thing it's gonna reap huge returns and everything, you gonna back out at the last fucking second? Are you kidding me? No promoter wanna hear that shit. No promoter wanna hear that shit. Fuck that. You going in there injured. It's millions and millions of dollars on the line. Millions and millions of dollars we done already spent, and millions of dollars on the line. Get the fuck out of here. You going in there and you fighting. Okay? So that's what you have to understand. You understand? Fights can't, when you see guys haggling over gloves and shit, ain't nobody want to hear nobody pulling out of no fucking fight. Now you really want to see somebody get killed. Because unless you really got a serious injury and you're pulling out like maybe, months before or whatever, you got a whole promotion, a whole company, a promotional company. I mean, these big conglomerate companies, they used to doing that. But big fight? Pull out of a big fight? And that was a big fight last time. You understand? So, as I was saying, it's just know the business of boxing. The business of boxing ain't that hard to understand. But you got to know what everybody's role is. If fucking Al Heyman was giving people checks, that motherfucker would have been investigated already, and he'd be in jail right now. Al Heyman cannot give anybody any check. Okay? Your manager cannot give you checks. You pay your manager. Your manager don't pay you. Okay? And Al Heyman takes 10% out of the monies that fighters get. And that's why if you look at any fighter in the PBC, they got some sort of promotional company backing them. Because it's through the promotional, and the promotional company obviously gets a cut of the monies as well, because they're doing the promotion, and they get their cut. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things. I think a lot of people don't understand boxing. Otherwise, they wouldn't say stupid shit like that. You wouldn't say that, man. You wouldn't say that. Al Heyman don't pay nobody. He gets paid by the fighters. The fighters pay him. He's an advisor. He's a manager. He's not. I mean, he came up with a brilliant idea. The PBC came up with a great, brilliant idea. That's his brainchild. But he gets sponsored. He gets sponsored. The PBC is sponsored. So he gets through the networks and through television. That's how he gets sponsored. So they get a big lump sum of money. You understand? Based on a pitch he pitches. And so he's a manager, but he's also overseeing the PBC. But he doesn't. It's not him who pays the fighters. The PBC. We gotta say it right because it's legal. The PBC pays the promoters. The promoters pay the fighters. If if it's true that Al Heyman's paying the fighters, motherfucker be in federal prison right now for a federal crime. Can't do that. Okay? Gotta say it right. And one more thing, one more very important thing, so you guys will understand. Al Heyman is not a promoter. Okay, he's not a promoter. No matter what people say, he's not a promoter. Right? He's not a promoter, and he doesn't operate like a promoter. He's a really smart guy. He knew how to work around the situation. He's not a promoter. He's an advisor. He's a manager, And the thing is, he has all that experience from managing all those big events. Big events, yeah. So, music events and stuff like that. And Mayweather Promotions, by the way, they're not just into boxing. They also organize big events other than boxing. When Crawford and Spence was talking about the fight, Spence said, "Let me call my promoter." He was being sarcastic and saying, I'm my own promoter." Well, Spence don't. I don't think EJ got a promotional company per se. I think EJ actually fights under TGB Promotions and some other promotional company. All right, because you have to have a promoter to fight unless you directly, like Jerome is. He's actually directly contracted to Showtime. All right. Um, but even though Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have a promoter either. They just managed themselves. So they were their own managers. And they build up themselves without a promoter. A promoter is there to try and make you more visible, right? So you don't have to have a promoter. But anyways, what I was saying is that, oh, he's Man Down Promotions? Okay. But I know Roy Jones Jr. and Bernard Hopkins, they didn't have no promoter. They managed their own careers. Yeah. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys. I think that's the biggest fight out there. Ryan Garcia versus Tank. It could be a tremendous event if the co-main event is Mayweather versus De La Hoya. That'd be tremendous. I think so. So that's all I gotta say. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I think Tank is eyeing Ryan. That's the guy, because there ain't nobody else available. That's an elite guy. It's Ryan. Ryan's the only available guy at 135. There's Pitbull Cruz to rematch him, but ain't nobody else going to be free. I don't think so, at least. I think Devin's going to be caught up with Kambosos. Those are the two guys. And then Lomachenko going to be after. So they'll keep Lomachenko. Bob Arum ain't going to let... Bob Arum's never going to let Lomachenko face Tank. It's just, I don't see it happening. Bob Arum's... Man, that fucker is just a... Bob Arum will want you to sign the top rank to get any of his fighters. That's how that motherfucker works. He have no concessions. He will not go the other way. You understand? You have to go sign up with ESPN and Top Rank to get his fighter. You know what I mean? So I just don't see Tank versus Loma happening anytime soon. You know, Deontay Wilder, he crossed across the ESPN basically. He still had the what was it? Fox deal or something like that. Fox ESPN deal. So it was showing on Fox and ESPN, and that's how he got Tyson Fury. He had to cross over to fucking Bob Arum's territory once Tyson Fury signed with Bob Arum. But good for Tyson Fury. He get him some leverage. So that was a good idea, a good move. But you know, Bob Arum, he don't go across. He don't really cross the seas to say he's going across. I mean, he did a little something with the zone once. He took I think it was Ramirez. Ramirez went across to the zone to face what was it? One of those the zone fighters, because he knew Ramirez would. The kid from Texas. I haven't heard much from him. You know, Bud's EJ's dude. I forgot what his name is. Yeah, and he beat the guy. I think he unified. So he had I can't remember what belts it was. WBO, WBC, something like that. So yeah, Jose Ramirez, he went across there, beat the kid, but Bob Arum don't really cross the seas to go nowhere. He always want everybody to come to him. I mean, he is a senior dude in boxing. You have to have respect for that. So, but I just don't see no Tank versus Loma, because Bob Arum going to try and pull clout. Look at what happened with Crawford and Spence. Spence is the cash cow. Spence beating better names at welterweight. Yeah, motherfucking Bob Arum wants Spence to come across the ESPN to face Bud. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? And then Bob Arum just I don't really like talking about Bob Arum, to be honest with you. He just like he yesterday news. The way how they used to operate so caustic and negative and fucking shit and bad talk their fighters. Fuck Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I mean, sorry about this, but man, I just don't like Bob Arum. When it comes to business, he do horrible business. His business is tearing down fighters, great fighters, and just being fucking negative. You know what I mean? Shakur there with Bob Arum. Now Devin Haney's across there. Devin Haney obviously going across there to just beat ass, take what you gotta take, and get out of there, right? But I mean, and Shakur a hell of a fighter too. And to be honest with you, Todd DeBuff does an excellent job. Bob Arum's, Todd DeBuff. If it was, if it was just Todd DeBuff we were dealing with, I think Top Rank would be great. But Bob Arum don't want even let his old ass. He don't want to let go of Top Rank. He's just there as a figurehead, fucking up everything. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, man. That dude. I mean, he got a reason to live, but I mean, the fucking motherfucker's so caustic, man. I just don't like dudes like that. You're not progressive or anything. You're kind of full of shit. I hate people like that, man. Oh, egotistical. Fuck Bob Arum, man. I hate to say it like that. He fucked up Manny Pacquiao's career, too, at the end. Pacquiao broke free of Bob Arum. Pacquiao was fighting everybody. Everybody. Fucking Bob Arum keeping him back. Pacquiao would have fought Crawford if it wasn't for fucking Bob Arum. That's what Bob Arum said. He said, I kept Pacquiao from Crawford. I didn't want to see him get hurt. What the fuck? I mean you don't want to see him get hurt. Dude fought Keith Thurman. He's a fighter. That's what he do. He get beat up, he get beat up. So what? Let a man do what he want to do. Fuck Bob Arum. Always making fights not happen. Dude just sours me. That's why Terrence suing his ass. Anyways, I should really have respect for the dude because he did a lot in boxing. But his time up. Your time's up, Bob Arum. You're outliving your usefulness in terms of boxing. I love senior people and everything, but your motherfucking monkey ass, man. Your monkey ass be so fucking negative. You're too negative. That's what I just. God damn it, man. You're too negative. Like, okay, cutthroat. I know boxing's a cutthroat business and shit like that, but come on, man. Man, I'm so glad the old guard is disappearing. I'm so glad the old guard is disappearing, man. We're getting a fresh new guard, and we're getting a fresh start at boxing, so people can be more optimistic and more excited about fights and shit like that. And more people actually know shit about boxing is talking about boxing. We got Paulie Malignaggi, Roy Jones Jr., and Antonio Tarver, as well as Juan Manuel Marquez forming Pro Box TV. That's the best channel out there. Them guys, they know shit. They know their shit. You know what I mean? I like that. God damn. Tired of hearing, Jim Lampley and fucking Larry Merchant. Don't like Larry Merchant. I just don't. All those spectacular and great boxers, this motherfucker would take, a great performance, and this motherfucker always has something negative to say. And I'm like, man, get your old wrinkly ass off the TV screen. Fuck. Didn't like him. And a lot of people took after Larry Merchant. Everybody's so hypercritical about everything. No reason to be critical. Spectacular performance. My motherfucker gonna say something stupid. You know what I'm saying? I saw what they did Rigondeaux. It's fucking Bob Arum and fucking HBO that did him in. Okay? I don't like what they did Rigo. Okay? Master boxer. Always bad talking to dude because he wasn't starching everybody. And have a vendetta because he beat Nonito Donaire. Fuck out of here, man, Bob Arum. Too negative. Too negative. A promoter's supposed to promote his fighters. A promoter is supposed to say good things about his fighters because that's what you do. You want the most amount of money your fighters can make. That's what a promoter do. But not Bob Arum. Certain fighters, he got glowing reviews. Lomachenko, he got everything good and positive to say about him. He had Guillermo Reagan down, and he was calling him boring. Motherfucker stopping people left, right, and center, but he's boring. Get the fuck out of here, Barbarian. Fucking Barbarian. So that's how I feel about him. But y'all want to go in on Mayweather Promotions. Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, that's what I see. I see Ryan Garcia. I see Tank. I think that's going to be one of the bigger fights out there in boxing. And I don't give a fuck what some fans feel about me and how I speak about certain people in the business. And I know I need to have respect for people in the business. But at certain times, I know why boxing is the way it is today and why people talk a certain way today. I know I could be a little bit more positive about it, but I like to be real about certain things. And certain people in boxing brought the sport down by their negativity. Okay? Serious contributors to destroying the fucking sport and making it less of a... Chris Oreo, what's up, bro? I want to see more fights. You want to see more fights? Yeah. But I'm just saying, man, Ryan versus Tank is a good fight. That's a very good fight. And that's probably the only top end guy, really top, like the top 5 guy. He probably one of the top 5 guys that Tank could... It's reasonable that it could happen. Because I'm hearing Oscar De La Hoya talking about... He was saying he admires Floyd Mayweather. Let's do business together. We make lots of money and all that kind of shit like that. Now, I don't know if he's serious. But if he really is, that shit could be lit. I mean, they can make ridiculous amounts of money. Oscar could he could get his rematch. You know what I mean? And they could do whatever they want to do. I don't care how they go about doing it, but I know it's gonna be a hell of an event if the 2 promoters go at it. You got 2 promoters going at each other, and then you got the 2 fighters going at it. Oh, come on, man. Shit. That shit gonna be... I mean, that shit will make a lot of money, I think. I just think it's gonna be huge. I think that would overtake everything. If you want to know a fight that's bigger than Bud and Spence Crawford, and I know that's a legitimate fight, I think it would be something like that. Not to mention the trash talk would be fun. It would be a great event, I think. But I don't know how if Floyd would and Oscar would actually work that out and be able to work the kinks out to make serious money. That's a big... I'm telling you, man, that's a big money-making event. That's a huge money-making event. I got Tank, but Garcia is raising the bar. Yeah, man, Garcia, but he ain't no chump. He ain't Rolly. I'm telling you, that ain't Rolly. He can fight. He can fight. Garcia can fight. He's not learning on the job in that kind of way. He knows how to fight and everything. So it'll be fantastic. I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight this year. I don't know if it can happen, but that's what I could see Tank's heart wants to have that Garcia fight. That would be a major event. You want to talk about you make the Barclays look like it would make the Barclays look like it's just this chicken feed. It would make the Barclays look like it's chicken feed. You know what I'm saying? That would be the biggest fight in boxing. Everybody be talking about that shit. Everybody. And it's weird because Garcia don't have no title, right? And the best guy he's fought was Luke Campbell, but he blitzed Luke Campbell. You know what I'm saying? He showed, this is Luke Campbell here, and this is me up here, out on the screen, okay? He showed that he was just so many levels above Luke Campbell. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm trying to explain to people. You saw Lomachenko struggle with Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell was hurting Lomachenko, and Lomachenko couldn't get Luke Campbell out of there, right? He was struggling with him, right? All his face was bruised up and beaten up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to explain to people, and they don't understand. These fucking guys that I'm mentioning right now, Garcia, fucking Haney, and fucking Tank, they Lomachenko somewhere here, and them guys is way up out of my screen. Where Lomachenko's struggling with certain fighters, these guys are blitzing them. Blitzing them. These guys are not even on, they're nowhere on these guys' level. That's what I'm trying to explain, but nobody seems to appreciate what I'm saying. Right? You know, y'all feeling that Kambosos is going to be competitive with Haney. Haney going to blitz his ass. He's going to blitz him. Okay? He's going to be like close to a whitewash. I'm not trying to hate on Kambosos. But y'all need to understand, like Tank been explaining to you, there are levels to the fucking sport of boxing. There are levels to this game. Okay? And these guys are on another level to the guys that they're facing. Right? And if you could just appreciate that, and we can move on. But see how this fight, like it was a fantasy, it should have already happened. Yeah. Ryan was, I don't know what's wrong with Ryan, man. Ryan trying to do his own thing all the time and jump a beat. You know, like he's saying fuck Golden Boy to Leonard Ellaby. I'm going to try and make this fight happen. Like, calm the fuck down, Ryan. You need Golden Boy. You contracted to them. You know? You contracted to Golden Boy. Chill the fuck out. Obviously, you came to the fight because you wanted to see what Tank could do. You wanted to see what Rolly could do. You know. But chill the fuck down, Ryan. You need Golden Boy. You contracted to them. For the money, Tank versus Ryan. But Ryan don't deserve the Tank fight. Ain't nowhere near that level for the actual career. Ryan needs to fight either Rolly or Cruz. He needs to prove himself. Trust me, bro. Trust me when I say this again to you. Ryan is better than Rolly. By miles. Okay? When Ryan sparred Rolly was a big grown-ass man, and Ryan was a teenager. And when you see Rolly beating up Ryan, but Ryan's still keeping his defense relatively tight anyway, even though Rolly's hitting him. And it looks like Rolly's beating him. Like, Rolly's a big grown-ass man. What do you expect? And Rolly can punch. You know what I'm saying? But to say Rolly didn't drop Ryan or nothing, he didn't drop him or nothing. He was supposed to drop him, you know. It's a little boy fighting a big grown-ass man. He's supposed to drop Ryan or something. He didn't do none of that. Okay? He didn't do none of that. He said he got the better of the track. Well, of course, you're fighting a boy. You're fighting a fucking boy. What do you expect? You know? Ryan got to prove himself? How you mean? Ryan was supposed to face Devin Haney. Ryan didn't want that smoke, but he was in line. He was the mandatory to face Devin Haney. He was the mandatory for Devin Haney's WBC title. How do you mean Ryan's not? He's got to prove himself. What are you talking about? Rolly Romero was the mandatory for Tank's WBA regular title. That's why Rolly got his shot at Tank. Let me tell you right now, Tank called out Ryan. Because Ryan's at the same level that Rolly is, except he's higher because he was actually a number one contender for the WBC title that Devin had. He just didn't want to face Devin. And he said it. He said Devin's a great fighter, but I'm not ready for that thing. He said that straight up. Right? So he's looking at Tank and he's saying, well, Tank's short. He gonna have to reach me. I'm fast. You know, I got power. You know, I know how to move. So he's already saying, I could beat this dude, right? So that's where Ryan's coming from. Extensive amateur career, by the way, with Ryan. Rolly don't got nothing like that, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is, you know, Ryan Garcia versus Tank is actually a very competitive fight. You're hearing it from me. I'm not bullshitting y'all. I never bullshit people, okay? That is a competitive fight. That is not Tank versus Rolly. That fight's not just going to happen where Tank just knock out Ryan. That's not happening. Okay, it's too long. And he knows how to box too well for that to just happen. That's a very competitive fight. I don't exactly know How, I favor Tank too because I think he's the best 135 pounder out there, but I'm not quite sure how that fight would pan out. I really don't. That's why I even showed you guys in the profile picture of this thing, Ryan keeping Tank at bay. You know what I mean? And Tank got special effects and stuff, so I would love to see what he would bring to the table to try and get Ryan out of there or beat him. And Tank will have to box in that fight. He'll have to box. Rich Cola says he was supposed to face a lot of people, but again, he has to prove himself. Fuck out of here. Rich Cola, man, you gotta wake up, bro. You gotta wake up. He's gonna have a fight anyway. He got some dude July to whatever to look spectacular and knock the fool out. Whoever it is, he's supposed to have a fight this July here. So once he gets his fight with July and he knocks the dude out, everybody's gonna be hyped for that fucking fight. The boxers have to start being independent. Yeah, they need to call the shots. You need to call what you want. And you got to put pressure on people. And that's what Tank is doing with Mayweather Promotions. That's what Ryan need to do with Golden Boy. But not disrespect Golden Boy. No, don't say fuck Golden Boy. Don't do that. But other than that, yeah, push for what you want. The Tank ends that fight earlier than the Rolly fight. Fuck out of here. No, that's not happening. I'm just going to tell you right now that's not happening. Chris Oyer says, oh yes, let's see it. Dude, Luke Campbell caught Ryan with a perfect shot on the chin. Ninja went down on the ground, got back up, and walked his ass down. I'm going to say this for you because obviously, Rizcola, you don't know who Ryan Garcia is. You've never watched him in the amateurs. You don't know that he split wins with Devin Haney. You don't know that this motherfucker is big as fuck. 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. On top of that, the motherfucker can punch. On top of that, that motherfucker probably end up at the end of his career at 168. These are not small lightweights you're looking at. Ryan might look skinny, but that's because he's bone dry. He is a motherfucking big ass motherfucker. Okay, he ain't bigger than Rolly. You got that? On top of that, not saying that, don't mean anything. He can be punching bag, but what I'm saying is, Devin Haney. Look at Devin Haney. Y'all saw you saw the press conference, right? You see how much bigger Devin Haney is than Kambosos? Do you see how much bigger he is? And they have it recorded as 5 foot. I think it's 5'8" with a 72-inch reach, and Kambosos is supposed to be 5'9" with what, a 68-inch reach or something like that. Kambosos is dwarfed by Devin Haney. Devin Haney is a good 1.5 inches taller than that motherfucker. Alright? Haney is a big lightweight. He could go up to super lightweight tomorrow and fight there. Same thing with Ryan. Okay? These are big ass lightweights. Ryan's very tall. He might look gangly. Ryan's like a Thomas Hearns. Let's put it that way. He's like a Thomas Hearns at lightweight. Shoot them shots real fast. Got a nasty left hook. Shoot the right hand, knock you out with the right hand or the left hook. Why? Because he's a big dude. He's physically a big dude. Okay? He a big guy. And Devin Haney is a big guy too. They're big guys. They're not small fellas. They're young. They're younger than Tank, but they big guys. Okay? And I'm telling you, that's a very competitive fight. Tank had problems with Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios is not even 1/10 the fighter that Ryan Garcia is. Mario Barrios, 5'11" with a 5'10", I think. 5'10" with a 70-something inch reach. Right? Now, would Tank knock out Ryan? It may be. We don't know. It depends on how he boxes, how he can get Ryan to bait him in or draw him in or whatever. So it depends on how he boxes. He might get Ryan out of there. Might. Depends. Because y'all talk about his chin being up in the air. If you can close the distance somehow and catch him in the chin, maybe. Or just a body assault. He can slip past the jab somehow and get to Ryan's body. But if Ryan don't want him to get to his body, he's not going to get to his body. Okay? Because Ryan he has that footwork too. He had that down pat. That shit that, Tank was doing. He knows what it is. He knows what Raleigh's doing. He know all of that because he's a boxer first. He a boxer puncher. Tank's the same thing. They can box. That's why this is a very exciting fight. Very exciting fight. Extremely exciting fight. I would love to see it. Alright? That's a fight I would love to see. You know, and all this bullshit about Ryan don't deserve this shit. Yeah, you get the fuck out of here with that shit. I mean, the only guy that I would have loved to have seen Ryan against was Jojo Diaz. Because Jojo Diaz is a guy that can slip a jab. He can get past your jab. I don't care how long you are. He can get past your jab and get to the inside. And you saw him do it against Devin Haney. He didn't have as much opportunities because Devin Haney was also fighting him on the inside and doing a pretty good job. And he was backing up Jojo Diaz and starting to beat him down as the rounds, you know, later on in the fight. Okay? And I just want to see if Brian can fight on the inside like that. But other than that, I mean, I would love to see that fight. You know, whether Ryan gets knocked out or whether he doesn't get knocked out, you got to understand, Tank is a special fighter. But don't get it twisted. You know, you making it sound like Ryan don't got no punching power or something, and Tank will just walk through his power and knock him out. That's not happening. And don't get it mixed up with Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell he's much longer than Tank. He got much longer arms. And he was able to cut that angle and catch Ryan like he did. Alright? But you saw how Ryan responded to that knockdown. Okay? So if you think that Tank can just punch drunk Ryan or knock him out into the next sphere or something like that, I don't think so. Not just like that. You know, I disagree with anybody. I mean, you may love Tank, you may be a Tank fan, you know, and all of that, but I know a challenge when I see one. And that's like that Tank is what, 5 foot, what, is he 5'5", 5'6", with a 60-something inch reach? You're talking about a guy who's 5'11", with a 73-inch reach. Dude got what you got? You got like fucking 7 inches on him in terms of reach. In terms of height, he got like a 6 inches on him. Are you kidding me, dude? That ain't easy to beat. That ain't easy to fight. I'm telling you right now. And the dude can move. He can move. He can box, and he got power. So you gotta respect him as you're going in. That ain't no easy fight to do. Not no easy fight to do. And you don't know if the guy will come forward or go backward, respect distance, and try to check hook you coming in or some shit like that. I'm telling you, man. Ryan ain't no joke. Okay? Ryan is not no joke. No joke whatever. And so I would love to see that fight. I would love to see that fight. That's a big challenge. That's a good challenge. Very, very good challenge. You know, for Tank. And it's also a good challenge for Ryan because let's talk about Tank. He's slippery, right? He sets traps. He's quick, you know. He's got skills. He can dip under punches and roll under punches, roll to the inside, you know, pivot certain ways, get certain angles, come up with his uppercuts in different ways, whether it's the right-handed uppercut or the left-handed uppercut on the move. He's fast. He can throw leaping left hooks. You know, he can counter. So there's a lot of nice little tricks with Gervonta as well. But if you got a good stick and you can control real estate and you can cut off those angles, it'll make it a very hard fight for Tank. Tank gonna have to find something else to do. You know what I mean? So, like I said before, good fight. Good fight. Very competitive fight. It could go. I mean, it could go either way right now in my mind. It's like a 50-50 fight in my mind. Even though Ryan is not a world champion right now, the way how he's been dispatching of his opposition, the way how he's been treating them like they don't belong in the ring with him, none of them, whether it's, you know, top contender Luke Campbell or whoever, he just been dispatching of them like they jokes, okay? Tells me he's levels ahead of that the competition he's been facing. Okay? So, just like how Mugabe faced Marvin Hagler, I would love to see him versus Tank. Why not? Why not? We all know he's an elite fighter. Okay? So, why not? Biggest payday ever? What? Fuck yeah. Why not? It don't hurt nobody. It don't hurt him. It don't hurt Tank to have that fight right now. The risk is worth the reward. Any day, anytime. Any day, anytime. Okay? That's a fight that done should be happening. Yeah, I mean, it's boxing. I mean, you think Raleigh Romero would have take this risk if it was Devin Haney or it was some other fighter? No. But he's getting paid. He's going to get paid the most he's ever get paid in his career. He going to have a piece of the pay-per-view, Raleigh Romero. He put up a good performance for his level of boxing. Ozymandias, Tank Ryan, Zepeda, I want to see. Zepeda should be facing Josh Taylor. Zepeda should be facing Josh Taylor. You know what I mean? Tank versus Zepeda would be a good fight. But Zepeda don't bring no money. You know, you're talking about the biggest, I'm talking about the biggest fight in boxing. Right? The biggest fight you can make in boxing right now is Tank versus Ryan with a Mayweather-Oscar co-main event. Not undercard. Co-main event. With undercard. You could put some undercard. You could put some other interesting things. You could have a title fight even on the undercard. You know? Pack it in with somebody else. Maybe Scooter versus MA. You know what I'm saying? For the undisputed motherfucking super bantamweight championship of the world. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit I'm talking about. You have a championship fight on the undercard. You got an exhibition on the motherfucking you got an exhibition on the co-main event, and then motherfucking Tank versus Ryan in the main event. Oh my god! I'm just saying. Probably Badu Jack would be on the undercard, and some fighter from you know what would be a good fight? I'm gonna say it. Badu Jack versus Gilberto Ramirez on a fucking undercard. Shit. At light heavyweight. Motherfucker. Shit, man. Shit, that would be a lit card. Zepeda going 140. Wow, I never knew. Yeah, Zepeda's at 140. Right now, I think he's in line to face Josh Taylor. Zepeda. It's a good fighter. Very good fighter. I don't think he's on the level of the guys I just mentioned, but he's a good fighter. Underrated. He actually beat Jose Pedraza. Yeah. Jose Zepeda, man. Jose Zepeda. But Zepeda don't deserve that pay. No. What has he done? How has he moved the needle? What has he done to move the needle? I'm not talking about his fights. Obviously, he earned a shot at Josh Taylor. You know, he earned a shot. He got himself in position. I'm talking about why would we pick Zepeda to face Tank? Just because it's a challenging fight? That's it? I mean, I guess you could do it. I don't know. But it's just, it don't, like, who's Zepeda? Who's Jose Zepeda? Nobody knows who he is. You know what I mean? I mean, people know who he is in the boxing world, but, like, nobody knows who he is otherwise. You know? Good fight, but at this time, Zerto smokes him. Smokes who? Battle Jack? No. No. I know Badu's old, but remember, Badu fights on the inside. I would love to see that anyway. I saw Tank training. He trains his neck. Yeah, of course. Everybody does that. That's as important as the heavy bag. That's why he takes a shot. It's a key thing in boxing. Trains, not reigns. Yeah, I know. That's boxing, not a luxury, brother. Yes. I'm just saying, you know, if you're Mayweather Promotions, you want the biggest possible fight you can get in boxing. You're not trying to as a promotional company, that's what you want, right? You as a promotional company, you're not just looking at, I mean, who's the toughest fighter out there. You're looking for what's the best matchup that make my fighter look the best he could look. You know what I'm saying? Raleigh had a pencil neck. Raleigh's a big fucking dude. Pencil neck. That motherfucker got back up after getting knocked out. Most fighters would be knocked out. Raleigh wasn't completely gone. He was put to sleep on the way down, but he woke back up. And he got up wobbly leg, but he's strong. What are you talking about, man? Raleigh's strong. It's just he got caught good. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You get caught good with a shot, you're going down. And, he seized up on that shot. There's nothing you can do about that. Soto is a super heavyweight. You mean he comes in 200 pounds? I hear you. Ozymandias, he did well to get up. Fuck yeah. He's strong. Raleigh's very, very strong. Raleigh's strong. No doubt about that. But he got caught. I mean, that was he got caught perfectly. There's nothing you could do about that. He got caught perfectly. Nobody gets up from that shot, but he got up. That tells you how strong he is. But if I were him, I wouldn't try and get hit like that again. Because then my chin might go, and then, I might have damage, and then I wouldn't be good. But, yeah, Raleigh's a strong dude, and it happens. It's boxing. But I know one thing. Cha-ching! He made some money, man. Raleigh made some money off of that fight. And there's no backward steps. After you face that level of opposition, and now you got a name, you have to face level of opposition around that. So he's now, all Raleigh going to be facing now is elite opposition. He has to face elite opposition. There's no turning back. You can't go backwards. You understand what I'm saying? Ozymandias says he hit Tank first, but it did nothing, and Tank countered nice and controlled. I like Raleigh. Raleigh's cool, man. I like how he talks and everything. He trash talks like crazy. Raleigh's a good guy, man. He got himself into position by talking his way in, but he also earned his shot, right? He got himself into position as an option for Tank to face. So, I mean, well done, Raleigh. I'll give him a clap for that. He tried to end the combination with the left, of course, like he did earlier on, and sort of kind of caught Tank. He actually buzzed Tank a little bit, but Tank was actually clinching. And then, of course, he fell on the ground. Yeah, he was trying to do the same thing because, you see, what he was doing was inching in. So he knew he was within range. He threw the first right hand, right? He touched Tank on the body. But what he didn't do right was he should have thrown the jab again. So right hand jab. You finish off with the jab. You always end your combination with the jab. So he should have finished it off with the jab. If he had thrown the jab and it fell short, he then wouldn't have proceeded to throw the second right hand and then to try to finish it off with the left hook. But he was so eager to close the distance because he thought he was within range, he didn't see that Tank took a step back. He took 2 steps back, actually. Inexperience, inexperience. That's the difference. You can have confidence, but you don't realize you didn't do all your homework. You didn't do all the steps. But you don't know. You're ignorant. You don't know that. You know what I mean? So he was confident that he could stop Tank and he could do this with Tank and so on. But see, Tank's the sensei. He was a student. He didn't realize that. It was working in the first rounds. Because in the beginning, he was able to inch in and close the distance, right? And Tank wasn't respecting distance. Tank wasn't, he wasn't stepping back. Yeah, you can't buy experience. Tank's confidence comes from his experience and his hard work. That's where his confidence comes from. I'm going to say something again about Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people felt Floyd Mayweather was boasting when he was saying all that shit they were saying. But the one thing about Floyd Mayweather was he knew he was working harder than everybody in boxing. He knew he was pushing himself to the limit. So when he said what he said, he wasn't saying it as a matter of boasting. He was saying it as a matter of fact. He knew nobody was doing what he was doing. So that is where he's able to make the claims he's making. He's not being boasting or bragging. And he said, look, okay, hear this out. Is it boasting or bragging if I could back it up? If I could back up what I'm saying, am I boasting or bragging? No, I'm stating facts, right? Because I know what I do in the gym. I know what I do year round, and I know nobody's doing that. So I know when I say, "Oh, this dude, we gonna see what he got." But I know I am the best boxer in all of boxing. When he says that, he knows what he's saying. He not bullshitting people. He's not even bullshitting himself. He know what he do. He work his ass off in the gym. Okay? So there's what we call fake confidence, and then there's real confidence. But your confidence don't come from just inherently, like, people talk about, Wilder have inherent belief in himself. That's cool. That's cool. Raleigh have inherent belief in himself. That's cool. He's going to will himself to win. I'm like, nah, homie, don't work like that. You got to put on the work. You got to put on the work. It ain't just osmosis and I just will myself to win. Fuck out of here with that shit. This thing's about knowledge and ingraining it in your system. And the only way that's going to happen is if you put in the fucking work. You have to work. Yeah, everybody can think they're the best, but not everybody can back it up, right? You could think or you could say that you're the best. That don't mean that it's so, right? Now, the people who know they're the best, see, thinking the best and knowing they're the best is two different things, right? People who know they're the best, you know why they know they're the best? There's a reason. There's a reason. They know what they're going through, and they know nobody else is doing that. Nobody's willing to put themselves through that. Because I know what I'm doing, and I know how uncomfortable it is, and all work is easy work. Meaning, as uncomfortable as this shit is, this is my routine, and this is what I do. And I know if I'm uncomfortable doing this, your ass gonna be uncomfortable when I start doing it to you. So that's what Floyd and the other guy I know who was like that was Andre Ward. Right? And Andre Ward mightn't say it to your face. He mightn't say, I'm the best out there. He mightn't say that. But you bet your ass he's thinking that. He don't think you can mess with him. Nobody can mess with Andre Ward because Andre Ward knows he put in the work. He know he put in the work. That's the difference. There's lots of fighters out there who will say they're the best and blah, 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 blah. And then yappity yap, 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 yap. Right? They yappity yap, yap, yap. But they ain't got nothing. They just talking. They talking their way into that shit. Like Raleigh. Raleigh was talking his way into something. And getting you guys to believe him. Conor McGregor talking his way into something. They talk. They're good. They're good at talking. What's the guy kid name? Cobbs? Something Cobbs. Right? Talk his way. Blair Cobbs. Talking his way into shit. He could talk. Talk is cheap though. You could talk. I mean, you'd be a great promoter. You know what I mean? You'd be a great promoter. You know what I'm saying? It's different. You got to put in the work. It's different. When you speaking from, when you look at Clarissa Shields, for example, motherfucker don't say nothing she don't do. She don't believe. Because, and why? Where does the faith and belief come from? From the work you put in. These are not people speaking in a void. It's not just inherent self-belief in myself and I believe in myself. And no, I'm putting in the work so I can believe in myself. I know I'm good at doing this, this, and this because I do it all the time. And I do it at the highest level. And I've been doing it at the highest level for a very long time. That's why I believe I'm good at this. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. Like Floyd or Ellaby would say, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. You see what I'm saying? We all say things that we can't do, man. Khabib in UFC and John Jones. Khabib in the UFC, he another good one. He another good one because what he do very well, and he's working at his craft. John Jones working at his craft. These are guys who, they not just saying shit. They're not just opening their mouth and running there, bumping their gums. They're doing shit, and they prove it by doing it time and time again in the ring. See what I'm saying? So they're not full of shit because they back their shit up, right? And I mean, people will tell you. You go and watch the training sessions of these guys and what they do and how far they go with their bodies and their minds. You understand why they're the best at what they do. You understand it. You understand it. You know? And that took years. It takes many, 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 many years to get to that point. They didn't just start yesterday. Like my boy Rolly Romero. He started yesterday. That's how you get there sooner or later. Yeah, man. You know, and these guys did it time and time again. We talking the amateurs. They did it time and time again. They showed it the cream of the crop. They keep on repeatedly showing themselves time and time again. McGregor got checked by Khabib for running his gums. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? So, a fighter who be talking, I know a number of them. James Toney was outspoken, talking a lot, but he could talk. James Toney could talk because James Toney could fight. He could afford to talk because he knew what he was saying. He knew what he was saying. You see what I'm saying? And he wasn't the greatest trainer in the world. He didn't like training a lot. Loved sparring a lot, you know. But he knew his angles. He knew what he was taught. And so he knew he had an advantage over almost any boxer out there. So when he was talking from experience, you know, proving this thing to be correct, from the amateurs to the pros. And then on top of that, the knowledge that he had, he was able to do it and replicate it over and over and over again. So that these guys, when they talk, don't take them lightly. Tony, B-Hop, and Roy could fight. Yeah, man, these guys could fight. And these guys proved it over and over and over and over again. You know? You know? So all I'm saying is, you know, I mean, Sean Porter said it so correctly. With boxing, you know, with boxing, you have to dedicate yourself to it and be focused on it. You know, Chris Oriel says, imagine Tony now. Oh my God. Yeah, he got big. Ultimate says Tony he could do 20 rounds sparring in the morning, then go Burger King. He was a great man. I miss. Yeah, he's huge now. He's huge. Anyways, man, that's what I want to talk about. Ryan Garcia versus Tank. I think that's a great fight. I don't know if it'll happen because I probably should have kept my mouth shut and just watched to see what happened. And they do all their negotiations behind closed doors. But if they can get those negotiations done, that would be a hell of a fight to have. A great fight for boxing. Definitely would do a lot for both guys' careers. And then you could have that little, what you want to call it, grudge match, whatever, between Mayweather and Oscar, two big names in the sport. And, you know, just totally, like, tear down the whole building. We had rumors about that, but I don't know if it ever came to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future. But anyway, I'm what you need. I talked about this in length. I ain't got not much more to say about Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. I don't really got much more to say about that. That's going to pan out the way it does, I think. George is a nice guy, though. I really admire George. You know, I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope he does well in the Haney fight. And yeah, man, I love George Kambosos. I love Devin Haney. I love both of them. They come from the same kind of cloth. Just Haney is a bit better than him. Jackie Callan let James move into their home as a kid, and she was his manager and surrogate mother. It was a great story. I mean, Tony fighting now. Yeah, I know. I don't know why he is, but he's doing it. But he has his own promotional company in Detroit, so he's doing his thing. Him, Lamont Brewster. I think they have a cigar company as well with Malik Scott, I think. Yeah, man, them guys doing their business, man. They're good businessmen as well. They're making their money. They're doing that thing. They're doing that thing. Ex-boxer. See guys like James Toney, all these guys. I feel like exhibition fights should be they should be doing some exhibition fights. They don't need to be. They don't need to be doing actual fights anymore. But if you still got that little bug itching in you to throw some hands, go do an exhibition. You know what I mean? That's what I think Mike Tyson kind of opened the door to, and Floyd and so on. No, Tony at 20 S now. James need to be in the Hall of Fame. He is. He was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's in 2022's class with Roy Jones Jr. He and Roy Jones Jr. going in it together. They supposed to actually, I think it's this month. We're gonna have three sets of years inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. It's 2020, 2021, and 2022. So all them guys gonna be in there. All them guys gonna be in there. 3 set of years gonna be inducted this June in Canastota. Thank God for that. I was worried that he wouldn't. No, he's in there. He's in there. Tony is my top 20 favorite fighters. Nice. What is it? Hey, let me ask you guys. Maybe I should do this in another stream. I gotta go take care of some plants that didn't get in water today. But I gotta ask you guys, who are your top favorite fighters? Maybe not of all time. Just your top favorite fighters, maybe currently in the world today. Who's your top favorite fighters in the world today? And then Tony's resume is epic. Yeah, I mean, this man fought heavyweights. This man was fighting at heavyweight and arguably won a couple of heavyweight titles too, against Rahman and against Ruiz. I thought he won those things, and they were saying he had some high testosterone levels, but he was doing testosterone therapy. So they really should excuse him and take those no contests off of those fights, because that's a thing. That's a real thing. Next. No, seriously, who's your top? Give me your top 5 fighters. It don't need to be of all time. He fought killers like Mike McCallum. Yeah, I know. And when Mike McCallum was still a champion, I think he was WBA champion. I think he got stripped though. But yeah, he fought Mike McCallum. He fought Roy Jones Jr. The only guy he didn't fight was Bernard Hopkins. For Mike McCallum, Roy Jones Jr., Hasim Rahman, Evander Holyfield, John Ruiz. There's a bunch of guys actually he fought. He fought the Kazakhstanian guy at cruiserweight. That's where he won the cruiserweight title. He fought this short little guy, 5'6", with a 71-inch reach. What's his name? Montel Griffin. Montel Griffin. Just fucking phenomenal fighter, by the way. Montel Griffin. Fucking light heavyweight. 5'6" with a 71-inch reach. Guys, man, get the fuck out of here. Seriously. You know who else is a bad motherfucker? He got a channel on here. Cornelius Bunridge. K9 Bunridge. K9 Bunridge is 5'6" with a 72-inch reach. This motherfucker fought at 154. K9 Bunridge is a short little dude with long arms. Kind of like, them two guys remind me of Sam Langford, because Sam Langford was like what? He was like 5'6" with a 72-inch reach. Short little guys who fighting much bigger guys. Much bigger guys. Fucking Montel Griffin never supposed to be fighting at light heavyweight. What the fuck? And fucking Cornelius Bunridge be fighting at junior middleweight. It's crazy shit. That's just crazy shit, in my opinion. He used to spar Thomas Hearns, Cornelius Bunridge. He got a channel on here. Y'all should check him out. Check out his channel. The champ be on covering fights and shit, and it's nice to hear fighters cover fights. Always. I love going to his channel. It's so positive and everything. He's funny too. Yeah, Cornelius Bunridge. I mean, I could talk about so many fucking phenomenal fighters who nobody really talked too much about, but I mean, they're just fucking phenomenal. You think about them, they're just phenomenal fighters. Winky Wright was okay, yeah, man. Defense. Winky Wright was a bad motherfucker in that respect. Winky Wright, man, I love Winky Wright too. That's another one of my favorites. Okay, give me your top five defensive fighters in the last 50 years. Let me see. Yeah, last 50 years. So we're talking about from 1972 all the way up to 2022. Who's your top five defensive fighters in the last 50 years? You know, I'm gonna try and call some names y'all never heard before. So one of them is Marlon Starling for me. Marlon Starling, I love him. The Magic Man, love Marlon Starling. Um, you know, he beat Lloyd Holligan, who beat Lloyd Holligan. Lloyd Hunnigan beat, I believe it was Donald Curry, if I'm not mistaken, or it was Mark Breland. I can't remember. James Toney, all right, yeah, James Toney definitely is one. Um, Sweet Pea, okay, yeah, absolutely. Um, the other guy that I think nobody really talked too much about when it comes to defensive fighting, but he was a tremendous defensive fighter. Um, he was the late '70s, I think. Um, what's his name? Was it Moreno? Moreno. Fuck. Uh, Alcelmo Moreno. Southpaw. Alcelmo Moreno. Fantastic defensive fighter. And then how can we forget Juan Guzman? Juan Guzman, great defensive fighter. Stayed undefeated for a very long time, and as he's fading out, he lost to the kid from Eastern Europe, Alcelmo Moreno. You guys know who Alcelmo Moreno is? Good fighter, fantastic fighter. Um, Juan Guzman. Juan Guzman right now he helps train. I think it's Jamel Charlo. Um, who else we got? Um, in the last, well, all-time Muhammad Ali. Okay. Mayweather, Nicolina Loche. Yeah, Nicolina Loche is another one. James Toney and Winky Wright. Nice. Nice. Uh, I also like you like Winky, Tony, Sweet Pea. I'm gonna call another guy. Um, y'all know who Alcemo Moreno is, right? I'm gonna call it one he was a long fighter. He was a tall, long fighter from Panama. Um, Celestino Caballero. You guys know who Celestino Caballero is? Ray Leonard had underrated defense too. Oh, of course, of course, of course. Stick and move, catch and shoot and all that. Y'all know who Celestino Caballero is? Long guy, 6 feet tall, 70. What was it? 74-inch reach, something like that. Yeah, Celestino. Yeah, he was a good fighter too. Good defensive fighter. Lomachenko, of course. Lomachenko, of course. Lomachenko. Of course, if we're gonna go with till 2022, he not retired yet, but Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney and Tank and Ryan and Bud and Jerome and Usyk and Michael Hunter, underrated fighter. He's supposed to be facing Huey Fury. There's a whole bunch of them, man. Stephen Fulton, um, Inouye, Naoya Inouye, uh, so many of them, so many of them. Yeah, Bud is a bad boy. Yeah, bad boy. Who else we got? He got good defense. Canelo, uh, Tyson Fury, but he's retired. But still, Tyson Fury. Who else we got? Yeah, Shakur is amazing. Shakur is so sharp, so very disciplined. Um, Bivol, of course, Bivol. Yep, 100%. Dimitri Bivol, man. Dimitri Pirog was good too. Dimitri Pirog. You guys know who Dimitri Pirog is? Dimitri Pirog. Um, Good defensive fighters. I like calling the ones that people don't usually call because I feel like they don't get the shine that they really deserve. Yeah, Pirog did KO Danny Jacobs. That's right. That's right. Yeah, Dimitri Pirog. Who else we got? Defensively, of course. How could I forget him? Demetrius Andrade, another Demetrius. Demetrius Andrade, fucking sweet defense. Good defense. Very good defensive fighter. Um, Lennox Lewis. Oh, no, 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 you're right. Lennox Lewis was another very good defensive fighter. Chris Bird. They don't talk a lot about Chris Bird, but Chris Bird wasn't even a Chris Bird. Mike McCallum. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Mike McCallum. Chris Bird had very good defense. I mean, he still, he got knocked out a couple times, but I mean, this dude not supposed to be fighting that heavyweight. Okay, he didn't really have the heavyweight power or nothing like that. And Chris Bird should have been fighting at super middleweight. That's how he. I mean, he put on size to be a heavyweight. He shouldn't have been a heavyweight. Um, they're a couple of good fighters, man. Who defensively they something. B Hop, of course, B Hop. You got to mention B Hop. God damn it, yeah, of course. B Hop is one of them as well. Hey, yo, I gotta go out there and wet some plants and shit. So I'm gonna go out there and wet some plants, but yeah, I gotta go do some work. I'll be back. Maybe I may be back tonight. Buddy McGirt was okay. He wasn't no Pernell Whitaker. He was all right. I won't say he was a great defensive fighter. He was all right. Yeah, man. I'm gonna catch you guys later. So I'm out of here. Ryan Garcia versus Tank. That's something I would love to see. I'm not gonna say too much more. I hope that it gets worked out. I hope that fight happens later on this year. That's a huge fight. I hope it happens. I really do. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace.